Hello and welcome to episode 35 of Things We Play. It's Tuesday the 18th of September. My name is Mike Oldman and I am joined once again by Sean Hart.
Hello.
And Joe Tanetta.
Hello.
Hello guys, how are we?
Very good.
Joe
Yeah.
is very good.
I'm not too shabby.
You're not too shabby, but Joe is very good. Joe, what has happened in your life in the last 7 days to make it very good?
The biggest thing is I have a new job.
You got a job,
Yeah.
top secret job within the games industry that we can't talk about,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations on the job.
Thank you. I worked
so-
hard for this job.
Yeah, that's, I guess. And you will continue to work hard within this job.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good news.
I would like to say I will be here every week still.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Thought I'd throw that out there.
Well, until that is that we decide to eject you, jettison you, as it were, like some old space debris.
But yeah, that's never going to happen.
That's fine. All right, so you got a new job. That's cool. We can't chat about it, as we said. But anything else that's made you bubbly,
No, that was the only
effervescent,
thing, the only thing
with
that made
joy?
me. That was the only thing that made me happy. But I have done some other things this week.
What have you done? Tell us. Tell us what you've done. I'm interested. I love your life.
Do you? It's nice to know.
You know, yeah.
I watched the new Resident Evil this week.
Resident Evil Retribution.
Yes.
Not the game, the movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, what? Okay. I feel like I've probably already seen this movie by just seeing another Resident Evil movie. Yeah, because they're all kind of similar.
Yeah, this one does quite a few things differently.
Is it in Vegas, in the desert?
It's in an underwater laboratory,
Oh,
and what they've done is yeah. So it's like it's tacked onto an old Russian submarine base.
oh, okay.
Yeah, and they have different biodomes. So they have one for New York, one for Moscow, and things like this. It's where they tested the virus before they made it.
Okay, it's still Mila Jovovich, or whatever her name is. Mila
Yep,
Jovovich?
still Alice, and they bring back the old cast. So they've got the guys from the first one, and
Oh, so this is kind of like a Fast and a Furious, well, Fast 5 or whatever, where they suddenly start bringing everyone back in from all the other movies.
pretty much yeah.
Yeah. Is it? Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't the last Resident Evil movie, which I can't remember what it was, maybe was it Afterlife or something like that?
It is
Didn't that
Afterlife.
start to go back heavy into like bringing in characters from the games as well? Because
Yeah.
characters from games have like come in these movies periodically, right? There's been has Claire Redfield been in it?
Yeah, she's in it. There's Chris Redfield, Jill Valentine,
Okay, Wesker
Wesker's in it.
in this one. These are all in this movie in Retribution.
No, those Clara and Chris were in the last one. Wesker was in the last one. Wesker is in this one. Barry's in this one.
Barry
Oh, really?
Burton.
Yeah,
No
Barry's
way.
in this one.
Does he
yeah.
look like Barry Burton?
Yeah, he does. He's got the red
Ah.
vest and everything. As soon as I saw the red vest, I was like, "There's Barry."
Yeah.
There's a few others. So Wesker's back in this one.
You said Wesker.
Yeah, it's got Jill Valentine.
Jill.
Yeah, but it's the Resident Evil 5 version. So she's wearing the skin tight purple outfit with the old chest thing.
Okay. Well, that's quite cool. That makes
yeah.
me more interested in it. I like it when they sort of. I know it's sort of different universe stuff. And it's kind of weird, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
You've still got Umbrella, and I mean Resident Evil's gone as crazy as Metal Gear Solid now, so I don't even really know what's going on there. But I like it when it goes back to more sort of standard Resident Evil stuff. I like it when the characters cross over, and I like it when it's more than just some weird lady kicking ass for no reason against zombies. There's not really even zombies in it. There's not really even zombies in Resident Evil. It's more sort of like mutant dogs and weird beasts and stuff.
Yeah, it's changed now, so it's just like mutant things everywhere, and it's
Okay.
just weird. And one giant liquor.
One giant liquor. Have they not done the liquor before?
Yeah, in the second one,
Right.
and yeah, first one as well.
But they weren't giant liquors.
No, this one's the giant liquor.
Yeah,
This-
okay.
This one's the size of a bus.
Nice.
Right.
Yeah,
That's cool. What was it like? Any good?
it was alright.
Yeah.
But yeah, you keep watching them.
But they're not. These movies don't do badly at all. They do really, really well. That's why they keep making them. Resident Evil movie series is incredibly
So
successful.
technically, what's this? 6.
This is 6.
Something
So it's,
like that,
it's caught up with video games.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
this is 5.
This is 5.
Yeah, there's one animated film as well,
Okay.
and they're doing another animated film as well.
Right.
But yeah, really, really popular. Really strange how well these do. But then I suppose that, you know, as far as just sort of generic action movies go, they're all right.
Yeah, it's not bad.
You know, it's not something you get a lot of, like strong female protagonist in like a big movie like
Yeah.
that. So I suppose, it does carve out itself in a little way. Yeah, they're okay. You just have to. You got to imagine that the people that are largely going to see these movies, or aren't familiar with the Resident Evil franchise anyway as a game, so there's not really an issue with that. But it's strange how they keep going. It's weird to have like these two franchises, the games and the movies, running sort of alongside each other, but completely unrelated.
Yeah, they just like have nothing to do with each other now. So it's like there is no world left in the Resident Evil film franchise, but in the games there still is.
Well, I've had issues with the Resident Evil name for a long time anyway, because Resident Evil is kind of a terrible name. It doesn't make any sense anyway. And I almost wanted them to change it. Resident Evil 6, because also Resident Evil 6, man, that's not the greatest title in the world to be saying you're the sixth one in this series. I thought that would have been a good opportunity for them to just reset, go ground zero, and just call it Biohazard, Just give it the Japanese name and just go for it that way. Because Biohazard makes sense as a name. Whereas Resident Evil is a bit like, I'm not sure. So, yeah, it is kind of weird that they've... I mean, the movies are still called Resident Evil everywhere, right? They're not called Biohazard in Japan or anything like that.
Yeah, no, I think
they all have subtitles, don't they?
Yeah. So, interesting. Well, that's cool. I'd be interested to give that a watch. I think I've seen all the others. I'm not sure. But they have got better. They've progressively got better.
Yeah, I don't mind the film franchise.
I think I watched 10 minutes of number 1 and switched it off.
Yeah.
And never went back.
Good work. Good work.
Yeah.
I think the first one's alright. It's the first one, the one with the crazy laser deaths.
Yeah.
Actually, the laser deaths, I think, come back in a couple of other movies as well. But because it was like, that's our cool thing. That's the bit everyone talks about. So, yeah, interesting. Fair enough. You watched anything else there, Joe?
I watched the new Bourne film. So, Bourne, Legacy.
Legacy. That's the one with Hawkeye in it.
Yeah, John Raymer, something like that.
I don't know. Rayner?
Somewhere around there, yeah.
Rimmer? Rumia?
I have no clue how you pronounce it.
How was that? Because I'm interested in this, because it's no longer Matt Damon, which is fine by me.
Yeah.
It's not even Bourne anymore, is it? He's not Jason Bourne.
No, he's not. He's playing someone else who's participating in that program.
Okay.
It's a slightly different program to what Jason Bourne was in, so they're always taking pills now instead. And it's right. It's not great. It's not what I was expecting.
They're making a sequel.
Are they?
Yeah, they're making a sequel. They announced the other day that Universal are making sequels to that and Ted. So,
Someone watched it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not too bad.
I think it looks awesome. From what I've seen, it looks fucking brilliant.
It has got some great action scenes in there, like you'd expect from a Bourne film.
Yeah, and I'm way more interested in seeing him as an action star than I am Matt Damon, so that kind of works for me.
Yeah. But the whole story is completely different to what Bourne is really. It's more about him himself than it's him where he has to take these tablets. He's trying to get off of them, so he's trying to.
What does he have to take tablets for?
It's because he has to take two. One's for the physical enhancements that he has, and one's for the mental enhancements.
Right.
And if he stops taking them, his brain function will go back to down where it was, and so his physical fitness. So he's trying to find out a way. That's why he snatches the scientist. He's trying to find a way to keep him permanent without having to take the pills. Because at the beginning they tried to shut down the entire program. Is
this like another Robert Ludlum story, or is it just something the movie guys have just come up with? Just like, we need another story to bolt into this already composed movie fiction, or is this another one of Robert Ludlum's books of part of the Bourne series that just doesn't have Jason Bourne in? I don't know that.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't looked into it.
Okay. That's interesting. I wondered, is it set up as well to a fact where if they wanted to, in a later movie, perhaps the sequel, both Jason Bourne and this new guy could be in the same movie, right?
Yeah, Jason Bourne's still out there running around in that universe somewhere.
Yeah. So. I'd imagine that at some point, if these do well enough, then they go, yeah, Matt Damon, do you want to come in? Here's an easy sort of like 70 million, come do it, or whatever, Okay, that's fair enough. Again, another movie I could watch.
Yeah.
It goes on that pile of like not immediate watches, but if I run short of something, then yeah, maybe I'll chuck that on. Why not?
Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, exactly. It could be a blast. What about you then, Sean? What have you been up to?
A couple of bits and pieces. Got a new Xbox.
You got a new Xbox. This is a really big deal because you've had your old... Well, you've not had your old Xbox for like forever, but it's been... we've talked about a lot on the show about how dead it is. It was well on its way out. So your birthday came, you got some money.
Yep.
We all ventured down to the shop all together because me and Joe wanted to see you physically, like with our eyes, picking up a new Xbox. You nearly dropped it in the shop.
Yeah, almost instantly because of a supersized bag.
Yeah, but you got it. It works.
Ish.
Yeah, it works.
It
does.
does.
You've
It
not had
does
any
work.
problems with this Xbox.
I'm still having technical issues, but they will be resolved shortly.
Yeah, it's that basic problem of like you need the internet.
Yeah.
You know, you need the internet.
Yeah.
It's like powers everything. It's like electricity and the internet are the two things you kind of need to get everything.
Anything.
Yeah, It's, you never realise how much we need the internet until
Until
it's
you
gone.
don't have
It's
it,
like you've
yeah.
lost your left arm.
Yeah.
It's something you don't pay much attention to, but once it's gone, you know it's gone.
Unless you're a lefty.
Well,
Yeah, it's kind of shocking. So new Xbox, that's cool.
Yep.
That's nice.
And shiny. Yep.
Anything else?
Yeah, my daughter got a hamster.
Yeah, it's time.
So she got this for her birthday. Her birthday's not until next month, but her mum we went into the shop, we saw the hamsters, and mum was like, oh, that's so cute, need hamster. So she took her out, got the hamster, and it bit her within 10 seconds of having it.
So there's two things there. One, you made the fatal mistake of if you have a young child, pre-pet young child, although you do have cats,
Yeah.
but if you have like a child's pet child, don't take that child into a pet shop. That's like a bad move. Like as soon as they see the rabbits and the hamsters and the guinea pigs and various other things, you're going to be leaving that pet shop either with a crying child or an exceptionally happy child with a pet
That's going to bite her.
and it bit her. That's kind of bad news.
It didn't kind of put her off. She still dotes on the thing.
Yeah, well, I'm amazed at that because like we picked her up from school yesterday or whatever, and you were asking how Nibbles the hamster was. And you were saying actually that her mum was feeding him apple or something in the morning, and her instant reaction was like, "Oh, she better be careful," you know. Like she's now summed up that Nibbles the hamster is a wild man that needs to be handled with care. So it's a good lesson at least.
Yeah,
because man, hamster bites hurt.
Yeah,
it's like
when it yawns, you can see the razor sharp teeth.
You just get those two sort of front teeth, those two like beaver-like teeth, almost like a staple gun, just go straight.
Yeah, because you've got them at the top
in.
and the bottom, and the ones at the bottom are massive.
And they tend not to let go. That's the other thing. I used to have hamsters loads as a kid, and many a time I've been there, sort of waggling my fingers around, trying to shake a rodent off of my finger. So yeah, that's not fun. And for a 5-year-old, that can be quite a traumatic experience. So that's good.
I've never had a hamster. I've never been bitten by one. Do you know, I did have a hamster, but I've never been bitten by
How did
one.
you forget you had a hamster?
Because I used to have rats. I used to have rats instead of hamsters.
But we're talking about pets, Joe.
yeah.
You know, we're
Yeah,
not
so am I.
residents. We're not talking about things that live in your beard.
Yeah, no, I used to have rats as pets.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, I did used to have one hamster. I remember it now. It used to climb up the cage and let go when it was on top.
Yes. Did you have the hamster at the same time as the rats?
No.
No, wise. Hamsters are fine. They're just noisy at night. That's the
Yeah.
only thing. They're always like constantly biting everything at night. It's like, what do you do? I was like, I just bite stuff at night, or I run in a wheel. But every hamster I've had's got fed up with the wheel after a little while.
Right.
And just gone, fuck this wheel. Like I'm not running in this wheel anymore. I don't need to.
Don't go anywhere.
And then they devote all of their attention and efforts into escape.
Right.
That's it. It's like I'm putting 100% into escape. Like maybe that's what they do. Maybe the first 3 months of having a hamster is training. Yeah, they're running in a wheel. They're getting fit. They're lifting up their bowl, their food bowl. Yeah, eating water. They're on a controlled diet, and they're just running for it. And then the next 3 months devoted entirely to escape. You know, they watch you as you open the cage. They figure out the catch. Can I open that? Can I do that myself? Maybe they're jamming small pieces of food in between the catch and the door, so they can force it open later that night. If you see your hamster is building some sort of contraption in the corner of its cage, it probably is. Look out. They're smart.
Storing bits of food in there.
I had a hamster once that was in, we used to have them in those metal cages with bars, right? And that was a pain in the ass because at night he would just bite the bars, just gnaw the bars forever. Just with that constant, fevered look in his eyes of like, any time now I'm going to get through these bars, and then I'm free, I'm off, I'm gone. But then we changed it. We changed it to one of those crazy, horrible looking, brightly coloured plastic tubes everywhere, sort of space
what we
ports,
got,
yeah.
And to block off the tubes, you had sort of discs that you would put inside the tubes, just a flat plastic disc in between. Nothing's getting through there. And my hamster, I don't know which hamster it was, I had so many, but one of the hamsters bit through that door, that disc, of like a vertical fucking disc, just straight on, like nothing to grab hold of, nothing to bite. He just bit through it. Like I don't care. Like I'm just going. Like nothing would have stopped that hamster.
Yeah, my friend had a hamster that was eating its way out the side of his plastic cage.
It's frightening.
But then he super glued it back up and it didn't end so well for the hamster.
They go through bone, without a problem, without any problem whatsoever.
So instead of feeding people to pigs, you could feed them to
Yeah.
hamsters instead.
Micro pigs.
Exactly. Yeah. Hamster's favourite game is Minecraft. I'm just saying, it's not a coincidence. So yeah, cool. Hamsters are good.
Yeah.
I would say.
Ish.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've also watched Dark Knight Returns.
Dark Knight Returns.
It's DC Premiere.
Yeah, it's DC animated series of
So
some
they're
sort.
kind of like their premium stuff.
Right,
Yeah.
in-house stuff.
Yeah. So it's kind of, I guess it's done by the same guys, the same animating section that did Batman Year One, which I think was last year.
Right.
Or certainly at the beginning of this year, kind of a while back. And yeah, it's not bad. It follows the graphic novel, which is by Frank Miller. It's written and drawn by Frank Miller, pretty much to a T. The only thing missing from that is the voiceovers from Batman himself.
Yeah, but they're not in the novel.
They are in the novel, yeah.
But you can't hear them.
No, you have to read them.
Yeah.
They're thought
Right,
bubbles.
okay. Alright, so that stuff's not in there.
No,
Right, okay.
but kind of pretty much everything else.
So it's quite dark,
Yeah,
in that respect. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was that's what I was intrigued about, is whether any sort of like the more gritty stuff would be taken.
I mean, it's Frank Miller at the end of the day. It's going
Yeah.
to be relatively violent. But yeah, it works well. It works really well.
It is really good. I've watched it as well, and I was really enjoying it, and it's really got me psyched for part 2 whenever that comes out.
And it's long, man. I think
Yeah.
it's almost like 3 hours or something.
Oh, really? Wow.
And the most surprising thing I found is, as I was watching it, I was like, obviously it's Frank Miller, and Frank Miller wrote the original kind of script to RoboCop. And I'm thinking this seems a lot like RoboCop, more than the comic book ever felt like RoboCop. And at the end, it's because Peter Weller plays Batman.
Yeah.
When I saw the credits.
Yeah, that's kind of nuts.
Yeah, I thought it was a bit strange, but
Because I didn't think he was doing anything.
no, but
Yeah.
it works kind of well.
It's the only time you hear like Batman go, drop it. Yeah, no, that's kind of good. We should probably talk about Robot Cop. Robot Cop.
Without
That's
the
like,
T.
yeah, that's the sort of thing you can buy in Poundland. Yeah, buy Robot Cop, Series 1. It's awesome. It's about a cop who's a robot. And he's got a dog who's also a robot. Not true. Robocop, though, we should probably talk about, because there's been a little bit of chaos about the new Robocop design. Have you seen this design, Joe?
No, I haven't seen the design.
Weak
A
ass.
stealth bomber RoboCop.
Yeah, Bomberman Act Zero Robocop. Yeah, so obviously it's Joel Kinnaman, isn't it, that's playing Robocop, I think, in the new movie. And some on-set photos have appeared of him as Robocop. 2 photos, really. One with his mask off and one with his helmet on. You know Robocop's look. Yeah, he has Patrick Moore Games Master look, and then he has fucking badass Robocop look. So both of those looks were showed in these photos. And the suit, I mean, it leaked a couple of weeks ago as well, actually.
Yeah.
But now it's confirmed. The suit is bad. It looks like a cross between Christopher Nolan's Batman suit and something from G.I. Joe. It doesn't look mechanical
No.
in the slightest.
Yeah,
It looks like
rubber.
suit. Yeah. Which is interesting. The helmet still looks kind of cool. Everyone's freaking out, going, "Oh my god, you killed Robocop!" And it's like, no, we built Robocop. motherfucker. But yeah, the helmet's still got that same sort of dome and the red line across it, but it's now all black. It looks a bit like Knight Rider had sex with Robocop. So that was kind of cool. Everyone's freaking out. You've ruined Robocop, because the picture also shows his arms.
His right hand.
Yeah, so it's like they kept the arm. It's fine. You know?
Really?
But yeah, like you said, we don't
know shit. This doesn't tell us anything.
It doesn't. You don't know if he's
and actually
if it's just him in a shot with the glove off, or if it's actually he's got a human hand.
And one of the leaked scripts from earlier in the year sort of suggested that he would have several different suits throughout the movie, that they would change. So we don't know really. We don't know anything yet, but it was interesting to see. But it led me to have a look at it, and everyone's freaking out about Robocop. It's like, chill out. Maybe we should all chill out about Robocop, because when you think about it, we have not been kind to Robocop over the years anyway. Like Robocop 1, brilliant film. Awesome. Yeah, we all agree there. It's the best thing ever. You got Robocop 2, yeah, it's a good film, but it's still nowhere near as good as 1. 3, dreadful.
Yeah.
Robocop Prime Directives, the TV show, the worst thing you've ever seen in your life. And then I pointed you in the direction of a Korean television advert from the 80s.
You are forgetting the RoboCop cartoon series, which weren't great either.
Yeah, but this Korean television advert that we found as well from the 80s, where Robocop's advertising fried chicken in Korean. to a family, and it's the worst advert ever.
Oh man, it's scary.
It's the two kids. They're sitting down. They're watching TV. They're having fun. The mum's frying some chicken.
Well, to be precise, they're watching RoboCop.
They're watching RoboCop. Yeah, and it's way above where they're young kids.
Yeah.
And then suddenly RoboCop's head comes out of the TV screen, and then he steps entirely out of the TV screen like the fucking Ring. Okay. And then he walks across the living room to the family. Like you see it from his point of view, and it's like his visor's like scanning everything and stuff. The kids freak out, run to their mum. Yeah, he gets there, he eats a piece of chicken. Okay, then the Back to the Future 3 theme music plays. Yeah, the Western theme. And he says something in Korean, probably drop it, and then goes and picks up the fridge and freezer combined and storms out of the apartment. And that's it. And then everyone went and bought Korean chicken. It's crazy. So my point is, like, we have not been kind to RoboCop. There's no reason to believe that RoboCop would ever be good. We just, like, Paul Verhoeven just fluked one awesome movie, and then the rest of it's been terrible. So chill out. RoboCop's going to be at least as good as he's always been. And so yeah, that was interesting, I guess. Back onto Dark Knight Returns though, just quickly.
Yeah.
When can you watch this? 'Cause it's part 1. Can you watch this and it's fine just to watch in one part?
Yeah.
It's not like going to leave you on some dodgy cliffhanger or like I only ever saw the first part.
It's got a reasonable cliffhanger.
Okay,
Yeah.
but it also has like a proper end to a degree.
No, it leaves it open for the second part.
Okay, but is there closure at all?
It rounds off. Yeah, it rounds off half an arc. It is kind of like an arc.
Yeah, as long as I can watch it as a standalone, that's fine. Because I can't necessarily guarantee that I'm going to watch part 2 whenever that's.
You should definitely watch
part 2 is just going to be mental.
Yeah, well, it doesn't exist yet, so I can't.
No.
That's my point.
Yes.
So I just as long as it ends, comfortably, then I'm fine with that. I've been watching loads of Breaking Bad at the moment. I'm still watching Breaking Bad. It's freaking awesome. That is the best thing in the world. I don't know why you're not watching it.
I don't know. It just doesn't speak to me.
It's crazy good. I'm like nearly at the end of season 2 now, which I know I've got a long way to go, but it has all changed. It's no longer just like a teacher making meth. It's just like it's a teacher who's like just making an empire of death.
Yeah, it is quite insane.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
It gets madder and madder as it goes along.
Yeah,
you'll see it.
I had a weird situation yesterday. For some reason, I was just sort of freaking out. I was watching it in bed last night before I went to bed, and in the episode, Walter, the main guy, was fixing the boiler at home. He just put a new boiler in the house, and for some reason, I was geared up in watching the episode, thinking this has been quite a slow episode. Not a lot's been happening. Where's my twist? Where's my twist? Where's my twist? And I was expecting the boiler to explode.
Right.
I don't know why. I've got a bit of a fear of boilers anyway, and I was expecting the boiler to explode. And I was cringing for about 20 minutes to the episode, waiting for a boiler to explode. It doesn't explode. There's no reason why it would explode. And it made me so uncomfortable that I almost had to stop watching it. So, yeah, late night Breaking Bad, maybe not the best idea. But, yeah, if you're not watching it, you should totally be watching it. It's what a phenomenal series. I can't believe it. It's great. It's AMC. AMC pump out some good stuff, with
they
this
do
and
great
Walking
stuff,
Dead.
yeah.
It's like there's been some, it's really, really good shit coming out of them. So that is cool. What else have we done this week? We went and saw Assassin's Creed 3.
We did.
In fact, we all saw Assassin's Creed 3.
We did indeed, yeah.
Awesome. We got a bit hands-on with it. We played just the sort of the boat E3 demo, really, the pirate ship battle, the boat battle, the sea battle. Actually, because of that, we recorded, me and you, Sean, we recorded the first episode of Extra Credits.
Yep.
Which you can find now on our YouTube channel, which is just things we play on YouTube, but it's also up on our site.
Yeah.
Brief explanation about that. Extra Credits is basically anything that's not in this show. If we've got something that we can film, or just additional stuff, maybe it'll be stuff like this Assassin's Creed playthrough, but it could be anything. We'll pump it up onto our YouTube channel. So do check out for that anyway. The first one is live. It's cool. It's worth it. You can see our impressions of the game.
Yeah.
The game though was pretty good. What do you reckon?
Graphically, it's very impressive. So
yeah, it looked nice. I mean, I think the main thing is that kind of Assassin's Creed games look nice anyway.
Yeah.
And I was quite impressed with this. It's completely different to like standard Assassin's Creed because you're just controlling a boat.
Yeah.
You don't even control the character in this portion of the demo. No. You just control the boat. And you're going down. You're following some dude. After some boat that's getting away, and you need to go and board it and kill it. But then before you do that, you have to go and take down 2 other boats.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I particularly liked about it is the way the cannon fire was done. The aiming was really cool.
Yeah. So when you going along, you hold down your fire button and it brings up those side things at your side. So,
Yeah, you
it
get
just like lights up the water where you can
yeah,
see.
and it does it in sort of a realistic fashion. So what it does, it gives you like a cone directional aiming thing on the sea, but it just makes the sea a slightly lighter colour, just almost as though sunlight's shining on the sea, and that gives you an idea of where you're aiming. And it's quite subtle, so it's not like you haven't got like a reticle over anything. It's not like a big circle. No. And that I thought was quite cool. It looks fantastic. Destruction of the boats was freaking awesome as well. But you don't really do much in this demo. It was just kind of like sail alongside some boats, shoot them down, and then just tackle. It's 10 minutes long.
Yeah, then it's like board the ship that you've been chasing once you take it down, and then it ends.
Yeah, exactly.
The
exciting bit where you're thinking, I'm now going to see some serious ass kicking on a boat. The Pirates of the Caribbean theme is just bubbling up in your head, and then no, game over. So we had a quick blast on that. It was interesting. It was good to see. We were playing on PS3, which I thought it was odd that Ubisoft decided to show it off on the PS3 rather than 360. But I'm not going to read anything into it because there probably is no.
It might
reason.
just be the convenient thing that they had to have.
With Assassins, it's the one that they all show up with. They're saying it's like
I suppose actually that's true. They do have quite an affinity with PlayStation at the moment because they are the bundles at E3, didn't they?
Yeah.
And there's some exclusive stuff on the PS3.
Yeah.
So and obviously the Vita version, Liberation or whatever it is.
So,
So we played that. You can check out the video on thingsweplayed.net now, just if you want to have a look at it a bit more. But it was good. I'm intrigued. It's coming out in a few weeks, so that is cool. One thing I wanted to say actually before we get into our full-on games things, obviously Indie Games Uprising has been running for the last week and continuing on this week. It's actually City Tuesday that's out today, which we had a brief look at, and it looks awesome.
Yeah.
We haven't played it enough to really discuss it here, but it really did look cool, and you should definitely check it out because I can't wait to get off the show and go back and play it. But it's led us to an interesting thing because you've got no internet, Sean.
Yeah.
It's led us to this. It's not a discovery because we knew it anyway, but we're seeing the sort of the downsides of it. Of Xbox Live indie games have to be played whilst connected to the net.
Yeah.
Right. This is an issue. I'm not happy with this. We knew that Xbox Live arcade games can
be funny
with like licenses and things like that, and that's fine. I understand that, but Xbox Live indie games you just can't play at all.
No,
if you're offline.
Demo, can't play anything. It's just like you need internet to play this.
Which is I can understand to a degree. The main reason for that is because they're not rated by Microsoft in any way, right? Yeah. These are. They're in peer reviews by the community, and then they just go through. So the internet connection, I assume, is so that if something got through that was totally inappropriate, Microsoft could yank it.
Yeah.
They can just go, you can't use it.
Yeah.
You know keeping it. But it is a bugger, because if you buy a lot of indie games, like we do, at some point you're not going to be able to use them.
No.
There is going to be a finite time.
Yeah.
And it makes me really think about putting a game out on there, because some of these games are probably good games. A lot of them are just little indie games, little experiments, little tech demos or whatever by small developers, right? But some of them are bigger games, like Penny Arcade Episode 3. Yeah. Gateways is another good example. These are like full-on proper games that have chosen to release via Xbox Live indie games. At some point, you're just not going to be able to get it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
I don't like that because if I'd spent £500 on indie games, I'm not. That's $500
recouping that money in any shape.
Exactly. I don't own anything, so that's an issue. Another reason why I brought that up is because this week I started coding a game, or trying to code a game for Xbox Live indie games. It's a long way off yet, and we're not going to talk about it anymore because I don't want you stealing my ideas. But it does make you think about distribution and where you're going to put out something, and it's an issue. A bonus of putting a game out on Xbox Live indie games is the install base. Yeah, there's a lot of 360s out there, but then I would quite like you to be able to play this game
in 10, 15 years.
Yeah, and offline. Well, maybe not 10 or 15 years. There's maybe a stretch for anything.
No.
Because a lot of games don't have that.
Yeah, but a lot of people come back to stuff.
But true. But software is
sometimes they need to educate people they know called Joe.
That is true. But it does get. I think you're pushing the boundaries there. 15 years is where it gets hard to play a game.
Yeah.
Again, sure. But especially if they're not physical cartridges.
Yeah.
So that's it's an issue. I'm not particularly happy with that. And especially with Indie Games Uprising, maybe a lot of you out there have bought a load of games. I don't know. It's like we were saying before, Joe. You need the internet.
You do.
You know, you just need the internet. You're a fool without the internet. So I don't know. So let's talk about some games then. Anyway, I'm gonna start things off because I want to talk about some Xbox Live indie games. The two main ones from last week that stood out to me have been Gateways and Die Hard Dungeon.
Yeah.
To start with Die Hard Dungeon because that came out first. I love this game. It's freaking brilliant. Who's played it? Has anyone played any Die Hard Dungeon?
I had a quick thrash on it last week because
Yeah,
I bought it.
I've watched Sean play it. I haven't got around to playing it myself yet.
You should, because it's really, really good. It's kind of roguelike, but not. It's kind of like a slightly less forgiving roguelike. So you're a dude in a dungeon. You go around, and basically each dungeon that each room that you're walking around, you have to find a key and put it in a door. That's basically it.
Yep.
Find a key, put it in the door. Simple. Everyone's done that. You were doing that when you were just 5 years old. But the levels are procedurally generated, so they're different every single time. So no one's going to be playing the same two levels, which is cool. And you go for ages. If you die, that's it. Game over. Goodbye. See you later. That's the roguelike element to it, yeah? If you die, you lose all your stuff. You start again. You're not even going to be going back into that same dungeon because it's just going to be different. So you don't want to die. And it's fairly simple. It looks kind of cool. It's got a retro sort of
graphic,
sprite-based, pixel-based stuff. And I just really like it. As you go through, you upgrade your weapons. You get different abilities that you can do. There's some nice little effects with the torches on the walls. There's like blue torches and normal torches on the wall. If you run into a normal torch, you'll catch fire.
Oh, okay. I did catch fire.
But you can also make enemies catch fire, and they run around all over the place, which is kind of nuts. And the blue ones, if you hit those, you get like a life burst, like an energy boost, which is kind of cool. And you've got this like treasure chest that follows you around behind you, who's like alive, which sucks up all your stuff, all your loot that you get. But also there's like these weird little imps, like the little golden axe imps that come in and try and steal the chest. If there's too many of them grab you, they'll drag it away and you've got to go and rescue it and kill them all. And that's basically it. There's boss battles with crazy stuff, so you get like a gun that fires almost bowling balls.
Nice.
And I really like it. It's one of those games that you'll end up playing for hours and hours and hours on end without noticing.
Yeah.
And then the second you notice is after 6 hours have passed and you've just died.
Yeah, sure.
You know, and you're like, you've only just died because you weren't paying that much attention anyway. But now that's when it hits you. You're like, shit, I've been playing for 6 hours and all that's gone.
Yeah, it's harsh.
But it's slick. It's, like all of these ones from Indie Games Uprising, the games are so slick when you turn them on. And they completely set themselves apart from any other indie game.
So Die Hard Dungeon, I mean, does it save at any point?
Yeah, you can come back to it. You don't have to do it all in one sitting.
Okay.
Yeah, you can save. It's just one life.
Yeah. So it kind of lifts that save into the gameplay, and should you die, then it's gone.
How do you mean?
So you can't come back to an earlier save once you die.
No. You've just got the one.
So it kind of lifts the save off of your hard drive to allow you to play it. If you know what I'm saying. No, you don't.
I don't know what you mean. What do you mean?
Rather, because if you've got a save on a video game, it just sits there on your hard drive all the time.
Yeah.
And if you die, you can just load that save up again. Or if you do something you don't want, you can just load that save up again.
Okay. So
but
you're
kind
saying,
of like to play that game, it sort of lifts the save off of your hard drive.
Okay. It's a weird way of explaining it.
Yeah, it is.
And what I mean is it just constantly writes your save. So when you die, it writes that to the save game and that's it. Yeah. You only have the one save and you can't go back to previous times. Yeah. So it's unforgiving in that respect. You have to handle everything with care.
Yeah.
So that was cool. And then the following day after that was Gateways.
Yeah.
For Indie Games Uprising, which is a mind-blowing game. You had a brief bash on it this morning, Joe, Sean, so you could have a look at it. And Joe, you saw it then.
Yeah.
I've played quite a bit of this now, but nowhere near enough because I find this game just mentally challenging.
Sure.
It's basically 2D Portal.
Yeah.
On its base level, you play as a scientist trapped in his own lab with a gateways gun that opens gateways on walls. Not portals, but gateways. And they work exactly the same way as Portal does. You put one down, you put the orange one down, you put the blue one down, you go to the blue one, you come out the orange one, except for they're not blue and orange. And you're solving puzzles that way, yeah? It's got a lot of Portal stuff in it, so a lot of like laser beams, where you're redirecting the laser beams into sockets to open doors, and pressure pads and things. Classic Portal, yeah? But then it goes one step further. You don't just have the one gateway gun. You get different gateway guns that
have different effects.
And this is where it starts to load too much on for me to play comfortably. It's kind of strange. So you get one gateway gun that makes your character larger and smaller.
Right.
So it puts down a big portal, gateway rather, and a small portal,
Right.
gateway rather. And then you go through the normal portal, gateway rather. You go through the normal gateway, and you come out the small gateway, and you're little. And that lets you go into different environments. And that's cool because it changes everything. You're then way smaller in the world. And similarly, you can get bigger, and obviously you're bigger in the world. You also get a gateway gun that allows you to manipulate time,
Right.
and then you can make clones of yourself. So, like, one version of yourself can be pressing a button, a pressure switch, and while the main one goes through a door, kind of braid-like.
Yeah.
Nuts. You get a torch for lighting up stuff because you need a torch to turn on some switches and things. There's another portal gun, gateway gun, that does something. It does something with matter or something. I can't remember what it does. There's loads of stuff. It's just, it piles it all on, and it piles it all on pretty quick. That you're like, ow, man, this hurts my brain.
Sure.
And it's kind of Metroidvania-like in that you're revisiting areas to go back. You know, you've got a big map.
It's kind of hub based, isn't it?
Yeah,
So
you've got a whole
central
map that you
section.
can explore, and then from that you have to keep going back to different areas once you've got different abilities to go and do it. But what I particularly like about it is that although it's really it's quite hard, it's not hard, but it's just kind of like taxing hard.
Sure.
If you get stuck, there's little help points everywhere, and these are really good. You collect throughout the game these blue orbs, which are basically your currency for the game. And then when you come to a help point, it will say, yo, do you want some help on this? There's one next to every puzzle, essentially.
Yeah.
You press the X button, it will charge you like 5 orbs or something, and it will tell you then whether you can even solve this puzzle. So if you're stuck somewhere and you're desperately trying to solve a puzzle and you can't do it, there's maybe the chance that you just can't do that yet. The game will not allow you to do that yet. And this will tell you, it'll go, yo, you need to find something else before you come back here. And I appreciate that so much because you end up not wasting 2 to 3 hours on it.
Yeah.
Alternatively, if it's one you can do now, you can then just leave it and then go on and complete the puzzle. Or you can press X again to buy a solution. And it will charge you quite a lot of blue orbs for that. But if you do, it will then show you the solution. It kind of like plays almost like a video, like an engine of him completing that puzzle, and then just leaves you at the end of that video.
Yeah.
So it just does it for you, which is also really kind of nice. It's good because it's not... You can't just cheat your way through the game like that. It doesn't feel like cheating because you're earning the orbs. You have to spend them as currency. And it's nice for what is such a confusing-ass game to have that in.
Yeah.
Because the effects blow my mind. The way the wipes... Almost happens like, you know, in Lego games where they've got that active split screen?
Yeah.
It almost feels like that when you go through puzzles.
Well,
it kind of like wipes onto the next
like
bit.
his line of sight. So as he gets closer to the portal then kind of wipes away the rest of the current screen. Once you go through, it kind of fills up the entire screen.
Yeah. And that can be nuts. It can just melt the brain sometimes, especially if you then have things like changing gravities because you're coming out on the side of something. Oh, that's what the other gun does. I think it allows you to walk on ceilings and walls and stuff. So there's a lot going on in that game. It is nuts, but I totally recommend it. It's 240 points. It's the pricey one out of indie games like Rising, but it's more than worth it. It's freaking brilliant. I believe it's on Steam as well if you want to play it on a PC. Definitely worth a look. All right, what else have we played? What have you been playing, Joe? Tell me something.
In the same sort of vein as like Die Hard Dungeon, I've been playing FTL for the PC.
Right, tell us about this.
FTL is a roguelike space game.
What's the FTL stand for?
Faster than light.
Yeah, what's faster than light, Joe?
It's hyperspeed.
But what is faster than light?
It's travelling faster than light.
But what is that?
That's enough of that.
Alright, okay, faster than light on a PC.
Yeah. So it came out last week, I believe.
Okay.
Right. And the whole premise of the game is at the beginning you pick your ship, you have your crew, you can rename your ship, and you can rename your crew. As soon as you start, it pops you into a generated section of that galaxy.
Right.
Right, so all the planets are randomly generated. Well, they're navigation points that you can go to. They're all randomly generated, and there's all random different encounters on each one.
Okay.
So you can go to one, there'll be nothing there. You can go to another, there'll maybe be a pirate ship that will attack you instantly.
Right.
Throughout the game, you're basically trying to go ahead of the rebels who are taking over. And so as you're moving through, there's a red circle that will follow up the map. You have to try and stay ahead of it whilst visiting other places to gain scrap metal, which is your basic currency for buying items.
Okay.
And if they catch you have to get for a fight there, and then you can escape again. But so you're just trying to work your way through.
So what are you controlling in the game? You're controlling a spaceship.
Yeah. So your main screen is your ship, and it separates it into different rooms. You can buy new areas for each ship. They cost a lot of scrap metal. But your general ones you start with are a shield room, a weapons room, an engine room, and a cockpit med bay.
Okay, because this is where it's confusing me. I from what I've seen of it, you've got your ship and it's broken down to rooms, almost like The Sims, almost, or like a strategy game, yeah. But then how are you? What am I when I'm traveling to a place and doing battles? Am I still in that same view?
When you're doing battles, you're in that same view, right? As soon as you hit, what you have to do is charge up your FTL before you can jump to the next section. So if you're in combat, you can jump, but you have to charge up your engines first.
All right, okay.
Okay, so once your engines are charged, there's a button at the top that says jump. You click that, it takes you to another screen, which is where you choose your next section to jump to.
Right.
Which is on that screen where you choose where you jump to is where you'll see the rebel forces advancing towards you.
So this is mainly it's a strategy game.
Yeah.
You're not controlling anything directly.
You control your weapons. You can target where to fire on an enemy ship and things like this.
Okay, all right.
To understand it completely, you have to play it. Really, it's hard to explain all the elements of this game.
Yeah, I mean, so there's not dudes walking around my ship or anything, or are they
you have a crew that you control.
And they can control them.
Yeah, so you always have to have a pilot to be able to jump to different places and things like that. You can put crew members in your different rooms, so your engines, your weapons, things like that,
are more efficient.
Yeah, they'll give you.
So you can take a crew member from a different section, put him in your engine room, and your engines will charge up faster. For example,
you can have
your ship becomes more manoeuvrable.
Yeah. Your basic crew that you start with are 3 humans. You can collect more crew as you go through, and there's 4 different races as well as the humans that you can collect.
Right.
And you're just trying to work your way back to the Federation.
Do the different races then give you different abilities within the ship?
Yeah, they all have different abilities. So there's like a Rockman group, and they're immune to fire basically, and so you use them to put out fires that will start on your ship from combat, things like that. You have Zoltons, which will give you an extra power bar.
Okay.
For each room, so you require power to run each section of your ship.
So it sounds like you standard sort of strategy management game, a la sort of game dev story and things like that, where you've got certain tasks you need to do. You're employing people, as it were, to with different stats and buffs to make those better.
Yeah.
And you're exploring the galaxy at the same time.
Yeah. Okay. Whilst trying to keep your ship going, you have to make sure you've always got fuel to keep going. You always have to make sure you're armed. And you're always trying to look after your crew and keep them alive.
Can I get different ships? Can I build onto my ships and add on stuff?
You can get new weapons for your ships. You can get like drone bays if it doesn't start with it. You can also get new ships. So what the game does is, for completing certain bits and pieces, it'll give you a new ship. So if you get to Sector 5, which is like the 3rd screen, is where you jump from different systems.
Right.
Once you get to Section 5 of that, it will give you a new ship.
Okay.
Right, and then when you have that new ship, there's 2 different layouts for each ship as well.
Right.
So when you're on your start screen where you pick your ship, it will have the 3 different achievements. If you get 2 out of those 3, it will give you another layout.
Right.
Yeah, there's a lot to do in this game.
Yeah, it sounds like I need to play it because
it sounds quite confusing.
Yeah.
It's really simple once you get going, but trying to explain it's really hard to get across what the game's like.
Yeah.
But
okay.
it's amazing.
Where can I get this? Is it on Steam at all?
It's on Steam. You can buy it from the website as well. I think on Steam it's maybe £10, £7, somewhere around there.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just amazing FTL. It just sucks away so much time. You don't even realise what you're doing. You're just trying to get new stuff and upgrade your ship, and it's just mental.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah, no, that sounds cool. Well, talking of spaceships then, let's talk about some Double Dragon Neon.
Yeah.
Because that game has a spaceship in it. Has a lot of space in it, actually.
It does,
Double Dragon
yeah.
game.
It is quite spacey.
But it does have a moment where like a Japanese pagoda type building just rockets into the space, which is just part 1 of the mentalness that happens in Double Dragon Neon. So yeah, let's just have a quick bash about that then, and then we'll go and have a break. But Xbox Live Arcade game.
Yeah.
It's done by Way Forwards.
Yeah.
We both played this. Joe, you haven't got this, have you?
No, but I was watching you two play it when you first picked it up.
We did some co-op. okay, so let's just set this up then. It's Double Dragon. It's a reboot of Double Dragon.
Yep.
It's set in the 80s. It's like seriously 80s.
Yeah.
You know, it's like Boy George 80s. Everything's neon. There's crazy music. It's kind of bonkers, and it's brightly coloured, just craziness. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. And it's side-scrolling, obviously, beat 'em
Yep.
up, Double Dragon style.
Yeah.
But it's not Double Dragon style. Actually, that's where I've sort of messed up. It's not Double Dragon style at all because it doesn't have some core Double Dragon mechanics that I would expect. Like, you can't grab enemies and just hold on to them.
No.
There is no grab button.
Well, there is a grab button.
No, there is no grab button.
There is a grab button.
There's not a grab button.
B's the grab button.
What does B do when you grab it, when you press it?
When an enemy's not stunned, nothing. When an enemy's stunned, you throw them.
Yeah. So at no point does it grab anyone.
Well, you grab people when you throw them, don't you?
Okay, but my point is, you can't grab people.
No,
you
can't
can
just-
only throw people.
You can't do classic grab and knee
Yeah.
them in the face.
You can't grab people. You can only throw people.
Yeah.
Because there's no grab button, which is why I was trying to say in the first place. And Double Dragon, obviously, one of the core things of Double Dragon is that you can grab people, hold on to them, knee them in the face, and do various other bits. Yeah,
Yeah.
There's none of that in here, and this is just you just immediately throw characters, which kind of sucks. But aside from that, it's a beat 'em up. It looks like it's had Double Dragon slapped on it, really.
It's quite possible. I don't know. It does have some kind of key Double Dragon references, I think. You sound like you've gone off of it. When you was playing this a week ago, you was like,
No.
This is awesome.
I think this game is great. I think this game is a lot of fun. I think it's out there. It's mental, right? I just think it's not a Double Dragon game in the slightest.
Yeah.
It's got Billy and Jimmy Lee in it,
Yeah.
and Marion,
Yeah.
and that's it.
Kind of. There's stuff that I don't want to give away. But I would say one thing about this game: it's not for everyone.
No, not at all.
A
And
lot of people are
It's
gonna
divided
hate
a lot of
this.
people
Yeah.
online anyway because it is really out there. It's bolshy with its attitude.
Yeah.
But it's slick. I think the animations are cool. The art style's kind of weird. It's kind of 3D. They're not cell shaded, but they have a weird look to them.
Yeah,
the
certainly.
character models. I think they look really nice. They're big, and yeah, it's just bonkers. The music production in it is incredibly high.
Yeah.
As you go throughout the game, you're earning tapes. From enemies, which give you then special abilities. They give you like overall abilities and then like special moves as well, which you can choose and assign as you go through the game. But each single one of those has a different title. There's like a knee drop and there's like a sonic spinning kick and heal your partner sort of stuff. Every single one of those, because they're tapes, has a song written for it that plays in the menu when you hover over it. They're crazy. The quality of those is through the roof.
And it's got some very kind of they're not even that sly. They're quite blatant in what song they're supposed to be. So you kind of got the rip off of "Sexual Healing" by Marvin Gaye, and I can't remember what the other what standout one. There was another one that was like, that's a bit.
There's
close.
a Rick Astley one. There's like a
Rick
Run
Astley,
DMC
wasn't it?
one. It's nuts. All 80s style stuff.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool. But yeah, it doesn't feel like Double Dragon to me at all.
Yeah, I mean that's fair enough. The combat is a very finite thing. It's really all kind of boils down to timing because the combat is quite sluggish, and your control seems to be just that mild delay. But once you get the timing down, the game starts to really work and open up for you.
Yeah.
Obviously, the major thing that you need to get the hang of as soon as possible is ducking out of the way of enemies attacking you.
Yeah, it's got this weird. It's the other sort of part issue I have with it. It's like Super Double Dragon had that awesome counter mechanic in it, which I freaking love. It was easy to do, but you could grab someone's hand and then bash them in the face a little bit and do it. You can't do any of that. But it does almost has like a Bayonetta style near miss system where you press the left trigger, your character will duck, and then from there you can roll around or perform a couple of moves. But when you do that, if you time it just right, so you've just missed an attack,
you get gleam.
Which does double damage. Your character will glow slightly and do double damage
for like 3-4 seconds or something. It's kind of enough. And then that can be partnered with attack. So if you kind of duck, get your gleam, and then instantly press Y, for example, you do like a rising knee from your ducking position, and it does a shitload of damage.
Yeah. I mean, because moves-wise, you're quite limited. You've got kick, punch, and jump, right? That's kind of it. And
I mean,
move.
that's my main complaint about this game is I would have loved to have a bit more combat. I mean, the thing that's lacking still in scrolling beat 'em ups is the amount of attacks you can do.
Yeah. Well,
even Scott Pilgrim, which unlocked attacks as you went, I felt
Yeah.
there could be more.
I mean, I still think though. I mean, and this does suffer from it as well. Is the main issue with this sort of style of games is we've moved on. These games were born out of arcades and pumping coins into a machine to go over and over again, and it just doesn't work. It never really has worked outside of that environment. We had fun on the SNES playing Turtles in Time and various things like that. But generally now, when someone tries to release these games, and there's been a lot of them in the last few years, they just don't do very well because they're not geared up for that. It makes me think that like the evolution of that scrolling beat 'em up has moved into things like Devil May Cry and Bayonetta and that sort of style of 3D slashing, combo breaking nonsense. But that's not what I want. That's the problem. It's sort of like when I get these games, I don't want to play the old school side scrolling beat 'em up because it is a coin guzzler and it's not that much fun. But then also, the Devil May Cry thing isn't my thing either. No. I don't seem to have a great transition.
Want kind of something in between, the missing link, as it were.
Exactly. And Castle Crashers was great. Everyone goes on about that all the time, but it was a one-off. It's the exception to the rule, I feel. But Double Dragon Neon is what I love about it, and the reason I like this game is it's got charm. It's kind of charming. Yeah. There's some hilariously bad stuff in it. The bad guy's called Skullmageddon, and then later, spoiler here slightly, but later Giga Skullmageddon, which is kind of awesome. The things they say are brilliant.
Yeah, the quibs that they come out with as they're walking along.
There's that awesome bit when you're playing co-op and one of you gets downed and the other one tries to help up and the tape appears on screen.
Yeah, the cassette, and you've got to wind the tape back into the cassette.
With a pencil, which is kind of nice. I also really like it's got a high five mechanic in it, which is more interesting than it looks. The whole game's really, really sort of dude bro-ish, and the guys are all like, "Yo, bro, fucking high five me, whoa!" And you're always doing that. But there's a little mini game, meta game in the high fiving. It's rock, paper, scissors is what it is.
Yeah.
It's got a risk reward sort of screw your body over element to it, where basically if I pressed up to high five you and you pressed up as well, we would high five and we'd get a little bonus out of it and it'd be awesome, right? If, however, one of us decides to screw the other one over and presses down on the stick, the person that does that will like pull their hand away just at the last minute as the other person goes to high five them, and then that person will steal half of the energy bar of the other person, which is great. But then to counteract that, if we both decided to screw the other one, to go greedy for the energy, they both press down, our characters will screw up, they'll bang heads together, and we'll both lose a bit of energy.
Yeah.
So it's got a nice little system to that. It's kind of cool. It's nothing major, but it's a nice little bonus. Enemy wise, this game is pretty tough, I'd say.
I don't know. The entire premise is that it wants you to play levels over and over again. It wants you to go back through the game over and over again, which you didn't do. You refused to do it. You're like, I'm going forward.
Well, I didn't want to.
I'm going forward. Fuck this game. It's just full speed ahead.
Yeah, I was in throughout my single player. Yeah, from start to finish, I didn't revisit levels.
No,
because that's what it wants you to do, isn't it?
Yeah,
it wants you to go back and just power yourself up because you're constantly leveling up as you go through it with these tapes that you're finding.
Yeah,
to make your power ups more.
So the tapes work in two forms. It starts from level 0 to 10. And the more of that cassette you collect over and over again, the more that levels up. You can also go into shops and purchase more of that cassette to level that cassette up. You then, when you beat bosses, collect mithril. You take it to a tape smith and he improves that tape. He increases its level cap up to a maximum of 50.
Yeah.
So it wants you to just keep going. The level that you find a specific cassette on, if you keep playing that level, you'll keep receiving that cassette. It'll keep leveling up. And that in turn levels up your stats. It increases your attack, your health, your defense, everything along those lines. So when you've got that maxed on like normal playthrough, and I've got my special and my absorbability maxed, I cream everyone.
Yeah.
I'm like knocking people out one punch. I play through the Dragon difficulty, which is like hard, and still I cream that game. And then I've started on Double Dragon, which is like crazy difficult, and I'm starting to struggle a bit. I'm like up to level 3 now.
So it's geared up, I'd imagine, essentially. So you go through the first one normal, and then you go through it on medium, and then you go through it on hard, and each one should be kind of relative to your ability on it. If you wanted, you could just level up completely at the beginning in the first level, and then just go through the rest of the game, and make it easier for you. So you wouldn't be doing yourself any favours.
Certain levels, you can only get certain cassettes on certain levels.
Yeah.
So you need to kind of progress.
But you only ever use 2.
Yeah, but you don't get the best abilities like Absorb. You don't get until like level 5.
Absorb, which
regenerates every time you hit someone. It kind of gives you back a bit of health. Yeah.
So yeah, this game's cool. I don't think there's a lot to it. There's not loads in there.
I think the wackiness is like the main drive. That's its personality. It kind of is real tongue in cheek in the whole scrolling beat 'em up genre, poking fun at Double Dragon, kind of Streets of Rage, at kind of everything along the way, and it's real kind of hit and miss. It's like if that isn't your cup of tea, you're gonna fucking hate this game.
You'll know from the demo. If you play the demo, you'll know instantly whether you like it or not.
I don't know,
There's nothing...
because at the beginning I wasn't really enjoying it, and it's kind of I got to about level 4 and I was like, you know what, this game's fucking genius.
Well, it goes more crazy. It goes more crazy. But from the demo, you'll be able to figure out whether that gives you everything that you're gonna want to see. So definitely worth checking out. It's only 800 points, which is quite good. Yeah. So worth the squiz on. There's no online play at the moment, although I'm told it's coming.
As an update, yeah.
So that's interesting.
But off local play 2 players, it's a good laugh.
It's good fun. There's no combat mode though. There's no fighting each other, which is, I'm not saying that's a shame because those always suck, but I expected that to be in there.
Yeah.
Are you trying not to spoil the fact that it happens at the end? It's not a spoiler. It's Double Dragon.
Yeah, well, it does happen at the end, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I'll whoop your ass.
All right. But there's no combat mode. That's what
I'm saying. It's not an option, which is a shame.
All right, well, look, let's take a quick break there because Joe's getting hungry and eating himself over in the corner. I can hear it. We're going to listen to some of this awesome Double Dragon music that we found in the game. Mental. Okay, we are back. That was Double Dragon Neon. You must be able to buy that soundtrack somewhere, surely.
So, yeah.
It's fine. It is a fine soundtrack, especially for an Xbox Live Arcade game.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Of recent, they've been pretty good.
Yeah, it's just that this one's because it's all got lyrics and stuff. It's kind of like it's actual music.
It's like original GTA on PS1.
Yeah,
it's like the kind of first time that sort of thing blew out.
Yeah. I just think it's noticeable because it's digital.
Yeah,
that's kind of it. All right, let's talk about some main games then. We've done, and this has been a big sort of indie game and XBLA episode, I suppose. So we have got one full release to talk about, which you've been playing, Joe. F1.
Yes, last year's F1.
2011.
That would be the one, yes.
Keeping you up to date.
Yeah, well, I felt like going back and playing it after playing the demo last week.
Yeah, for 2012.
Yes.
So, how have you found this?
I've really enjoyed it.
Okay.
Because I loved 10 and got 11, only played it for a little while and put it down, and it's good to go back and play it because I forgot how much fun it can be.
Right.
It seems a lot easier this time round.
Okay.
So I've had to up the difficulty and...
Maybe you've got better.
I've either got better.
As a Formula One racer.
Yeah. But yeah, it's great fun. It really is. Some of the tracks I fucking despise. Monaco is just such a pain to get round.
Well, these are real tracks.
Yeah.
So real people can do it in real cars.
Yeah. It's just...
Grow a pair.
I managed to do it eventually. It's just getting a good time in qualifying to be able to win.
So how is 2011 compared to the demo for 2012?
They seem very similar.
Yeah, that's why.
In a way, yeah.
Strangely enough.
There's not much difference between them, really, in the way they play. 2012 looks shinier than 11, but there's no real difference between them that I can notice. Maybe I'll notice more when I actually get 12 at some point.
But you're going to pick it up?
Yeah. I probably won't get it on day of launch. I'll probably get it late because it's Borderlands this week as well. But yeah, I was playing through it in cockpit view. I had a lot of wet weather races in this one as well. And I was playing them with my Triton headsets. And the sound was just amazing, especially in the wet rain. You could just hear it just whizzing past. And I forgot the level of detail in the sound on that game.
Yeah, it sounds to me like this game, like you kind of love this game just mainly for the experience of playing it rather than anything else, you know?
It is mainly just for the experience of sat there,
getting immersed and I suppose Formula 1 games they're all right. I've never been a massive fan. It's a bit too simulation for my liking.
Yeah, I think that's why I like it, because you don't get many.
You like your kind of tech stuff, though, don't you?
Yeah, I like shiny things and I like simulators as well. Just because, sometimes you just want to try as hard as possible to try and do something right.
Be Nigel Mansell. That's why you're growing a moustache.
Joe doesn't know who Nigel Mansell is. Don't be stupid. I met Nigel Mansell once.
Did you?
Actually, yeah.
Was it good?
His moustache was impeccable.
So it's before he shaved it off?
Oh, yeah.
Before he started doing adverts?
Yeah, exactly. Before there was a news story about him shaving his moustache off,
It's big news.
Yeah, I suppose. Well, I tell you what is big news on the... sorry to cut in here, but on the big news in terms of shaving hair, Triple H shaved his head.
Oh, really?
Shaved his freaking head.
He's had quite long blonde hair for quite some time.
Yeah, well, the reason that this is an issue is because that was how you always judged the graphics of systems, right? From Triple H's hair in wrestling games. You go back to them all. It's the first thing you go and look at. Like, how does his hair look? Is it going to be all right? It's going to be all right. And now machines are going to be able to render it fine. You've lost your gauge as to how good the graphics are of this generation.
Oh, no.
It's shocking. So, yeah. He didn't think that through before he shaved his damn head, did he?
He's going to be dropped from WWE now.
Yeah, well, exactly. Or made the poster boy of it because, it's easy to render in Unreal. Yeah, so cool. So Formula 1 2011, this was pretty cheap as well, didn't you get it for quite cheap?
15 quid I picked up for, yeah.
That's not bad if you like these things.
You had to hunt for that price.
I suppose if you do like these sorts of games, though, you've probably got 2011, right?
Yeah.
So, wait for 2012, I suppose. But it's cool that you've got back into that in some way.
Yeah, I didn't think I'd be enjoying it as much as I was, because I don't know why I didn't enjoy it first time round, but this time it's awesome.
Yeah, just the right time, right game.
Yeah.
Sweet, F1, whatever. Kung Fu Strike, that was an XBLA game that came out a couple of weeks ago. You've played a little bit of this, Sean.
Yeah, I had a fresh on demo.
It's combat based, right? It's Kung Fu, evidently.
From what I played, it kind of lines you up for 5 levels, I think, in the demo. 3 of those out of the 4 that I played were arena-based stuff. So
I think that's kind of the crux of the entire game.
And the combat's it's got that sort of Batman element to it with your counter strikes, which made it quite enjoyable. I was enjoying it. I was like, this is all right. It's only 800 points, so I might invest. So you just. I don't know if there's a plot or anything. I wasn't really paying that much attention, but you seem to be a Shaolin monk that's kicking the crap out of loads of people. And then I got to what I can only assume is a boss fight. So it's kind of 1-on-1 on top of a roof, and he just spammed me over and over again.
Right, okay.
And my patience wore thin 5 more times, and my patience was out.
It's not got a bad look to it. It's kind of cell shaded look, isn't it? And so you're fighting like multiple characters at once. There's a lot of button prompts on screen.
If I remember correctly, it tells you what to do at pretty much all stages. But then as a demo, you kind of want that. I guess if you've got the full game, you could literally just switch that off in the menu system.
Right.
But it's I don't know. I've still got mixed feelings about it. I might invest and then give you a more in depth.
It came out that week when there was like 3 XBLA drops at the same time, and
so it kind of got overlooked.
It's one of the weaker ones. It came out the same week as Mark of the Ninja. And if you're going to go for the 2, Mark of the Ninja's the one to go for. But it's an interesting game. It's like you say, it's combat based, arena based, like waves of enemies, and then really hard bosses apparently. So Kung Fu Strike, there you go.
I don't know who's selling to. I don't know who's going to buy it over other stuff that's out there.
Yeah, but you reckon the combat's kind of Batman-like?
Very
which is
similar.
Kind of cool.
Yeah.
And you're big on that.
I am. That stuff's good. I want to see more.
All right.
I'm sure there will be more. Assassin's Creed 3.
Yeah, I'm at the point now where it's time to invent a new fighting system because that one's a bit old. It also feels really basic.
Yeah,
so like
it is.
you're telling me when to counter. Stop telling me when to counter. Like I don't want those helps.
Yeah, I mean, in Batman, in one of the modes that's on there, you can set up you go through, it gives you 3 sets of challenges. So it's kind of, it can either be 2 combat rooms and a stalker room, or 2 stalkers and a combat room. And they've got power-ups and power-downs. And one of the power-downs is it doesn't give you the marker when people are going to strike you. And it looks so much more cinematic.
Well, exactly.
It
That's
looks
why I
beautiful.
never wanted it in there, because I didn't want these little, like, lightning strikes to appear over people's heads and stuff, because that's annoying. And you are just televising it. I know that's kind of... It is that the way the combat's built. It's built like a rhythm action game in that respect.
Yeah.
So you are just hitting the notes when they come up. But I kind of wish there was a better way that looked more immersive than
Sure.
that. It's still sort of a quick time event, except for the buttons aren't changing almost.
I also, I picked up Joe Danger 2, the movie.
All right, okay. Joe Danger, Hello
Yeah.
Games, ex Burnout guys, Criterion guys that started the studio. I played Joe Danger 1, which is all right.
I played demo for Joe Danger 1, if I could say it. And at the time, I was quite interested, but sort of torn. I was like, is this game going to keep me going long enough to justify me buying this over something else? And ultimately, I went for the something else, and I was like, I wish I bought Joe Danger. So as time went on and Joe Danger 2 got closer, I was like, well, I may as well not buy number 1 at this point. I may as well get number 2. I'm not enamoured with it.
Okay.
I was expecting, from what I played of number 1, I was expecting number 2 to be more like Trials.
Right.
And it's not. It's not
I
much
think
like
that's
Trials.
a common misconception of Joe Danger, though. I think
sure
people
it
look
is.
at it and think it's kind of Excitebike-like, it's kind of Trials-like, and it's not. And actually, Joe Danger, I think, came out at a similar time as Trials 1 anyway.
Sure.
And they've always kind of both been there. But it's not. It's much more sort of platformy with power-ups and objectives to do within the
and
levels.
going backwards as well as going forwards.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's all based on accelerator and brake. The brake seems to make you reverse in the air somehow. There's a lot of kind of collectibles, so you need to get all of the stars on a level, as well as all of the words that all the letters that make up the word danger, kind of Tony Hawk style, and other bits and pieces depending on the stage. Some things have 3 things to collect, some things have 2, some have got like a special gold star, for example. And once you get all of those things in one run, then you get your platinum coin, which allows you to buy other things.
Yeah. And this is called Joe Danger 2, the movie.
Yeah, so you're like a stuntman. I think he's stuntman number 1.
Yeah.
But
he's Joe Danger, man.
You're just making a movie. So,
Danger is also his middle name. His real name's Joe Danger.
Right. You're making a movie, so you've got completely different scenes in this one. So sometimes you're on a bike, sometimes you're in a cop car, sometimes you've got a jetpack, and so on and so forth. A lot of skis in this one, and snowmobiles and stuff. And it's got some interesting elements. There's a lot of unlocks to it. So as soon as you start playing, you start unlocking different outfits for him to wear in the scenes, different vehicles for him to drive around on. So I do believe I've heard word that there is a unicorn.
Right.
Everyone's favourite mystical animal. But it's a frustrating game, especially when you get to a level and you can't progress beyond that level, of which I've kind of hit a wall with. To be fair, I've only played it the once. I sat down and I burnt through about 3 hours of it on the night I got it, and I got stuck on a level and haven't been back.
Okay. Do you get to see any of the movie stuff? You're saying, because obviously you're making a movie and he's a stuntman. Do you get to see like the final things, like a trailer or anything?
Yeah, it kind of shows you cuts of each stage. So each stage there's a theme to it. You're on a set vehicle, and then once you complete that stage, which is usually 3 levels, I think, it then kind of gives you a little trailer of what you've done.
Okay, because that was always the coolest thing. That's what I liked about the Stuntman games, for a start, Stuntman Ignition or whatever, and Kung Fu Chaos. Kung Fu Chaos did it really well, which was kind of awesome. So I kind of do like that. Like, don't tell me I'm making a movie and then not show me the movie. But yeah, Joe Danger's alright. It's not for everyone.
No, they have kept the level editor in, so I might give that a tackle at some point.
Yeah, it's good for just mucking around, actually, if you just want to make crazy
Stuff.
jumps or whatever.
Yeah.
There's some good stuff in there. And I think like visually, I quite like the look of it. The art style is quite cool for Joe Danger.
Yeah.
I think he's kind of is a character that's strong enough to support like his own stuff. This was cool. I saw first Joe Danger years before it came out.
Oh, really?
Because Hello Games came and visited us at work and stuff, and I loved it. Absolutely loved it then. But yeah, it's had a weird release, Joe Danger, because Joe Danger came out was Xbox 360 exclusive,
Right.
and then they released sort of like a special edition on the PS3 about sort of 6 months, maybe a year after, and now Joe Danger 2 is obviously on both systems. So yeah, that's cool. I feel sorry for Joe Danger to come out always in the shadow of Trials.
Yeah.
Because they're not similar games, but Trials was so big and everyone loves it and knows it that I think that puts a lot of people off. They're like, I'm not going to go. I don't need Joe Danger.
Yeah, sure.
And they're not the same games at all. So yeah, I'd be interested to see Joe Danger 2. Multiplayer was always really good. You could have pretty cool multiplayer sessions.
Okay.
So yeah, sweet. All right. What's your view on Joe Danger, Joe?
Danger?
Yeah, sounds dangerous. I just wish my middle name was Danger.
It's not. You could change it.
Depot.
I could do.
What is your middle name?
It's Thomas.
Thomas.
Danger's
Yeah.
much better, yeah.
All right, well, look, it's time then. We said last week we were going to talk about The Walking Dead. Let's do that now. If you are playing The Walking Dead or intend to play The Walking Dead and don't want anything spoiled for you, I recommend turning off.
Just
Turning off now because
everything.
we're going to ruin it. We're going to talk about episodes 1, 2, and 3 now, which are the episodes that are out already, and we're not going to worry about spoilers at all. It's been enough time. You should have played them by now. If not, yeah, you might want to skip forwards. 15 minutes or so. And join us back for news. I can't put time codes in. I was thinking, can I put time codes in? I could put time codes in so that people would know where to skip to, but I really can't be asked. So yeah, so you're gonna have to skip forwards, or we're gonna ruin The Walking Dead, yo. Walking Dead, guys. It's exciting. Clementine, little Clementine. Well, she died in my episode.
Did she?
No.
Yeah, I know she did. Yeah, I know.
What do we think then? Walking Dead. How's this going for you so far?
I loved the first 2 chapters. I really did. Second one's it was just amazing when I played it.
Yeah, that's kind of the way it is for me too.
Yeah.
So like the first chapter was good. The first chapter kind of it sets you up as to, if you've not played one of these games before, it's like, oh, here's, it's kind of a point and click game where you don't do much pointing, but you do quite a lot of clicking. And there's some heavy rain style moments in there of like quick time events and action pieces, I suppose.
Yeah.
But I didn't like the first episode. I thought the first episode was really flat.
Did you?
Yeah. I mean, it starts off setting quite an interesting story. You're a criminal, and Larry, is it? Larry knows your past.
Yeah.
And so, be careful. All of that's kind of interesting, gives you a level of tension. But overall, the first episode, I didn't think anything really happened.
No, there's not that much.
It did have a couple of good moments, like your second zombie where you beat it to death with a hammer.
Yeah,
It's like smash its skull in and things like
Well,
that.
you don't have to.
Yeah.
They initially found that like people just kept pressing the button.
Oh, right.
Like you didn't have to hit it as many times as you can.
Oh, because it obviously I went back and I played 1 and 2 again recently, and it just seems to hover there. It doesn't seem to give you an option to back out of that.
I think you have to do it a certain amount of times, but you can do it more.
Right.
And I think that's just.
I just kept going until it wouldn't let me anymore.
Yeah, basically, that's what you do if there's zombies in front of you.
Yeah.
You just hit it until there's no zombie left. Because zombies are pretty delicate.
Yeah, right.
That's
they're
always,
rotten flesh.
Always kind of the issue is that they're always pretty delicate. You just kind of point a gun at them and their heads explode. Right?
Well, the way they win is overwhelming numbers.
Yeah, that's true.
And a gun is never a good idea in a zombie apocalypse.
And yet you're going to turn one down?
If there's a sword, yeah.
I'm not. I'd always take the gun.
You're nuts. Because the gun just draws more. Every time you fire a gun in a zombie apocalypse,
the sword,
more zombies.
I'm getting too close to him with the sword.
But that's it. That's all right. That's
also,
right.
a sword is no better than a stick or a broom or anything like that, because it's not this. You don't need the sharpness of the sword when it's a zombie. When we're talking about how delicate their rotting flesh is.
Yeah, you
just a baseball bat is just as good as a
decapitate
sword.
them.
Yeah, you do that with a baseball bat.
Do that with sledgehammer.
Again, but these are slow items.
I'd be pretty slow with a sword. I'd also be worried about cutting myself and other things.
Just don't.
That's the
be
issue.
good.
Anyway, let's get back onto Walking Dead.
Yeah, it does have some interesting choices as well in the first one as well. So there's the choice between the little kid and Herschel's son.
Yeah, Sean and Duck.
Yeah, so it was just like I think everyone goes for Duck because you don't want to let the child die.
Well, and it's one of those things of it's not really an option. You know,
Yeah.
if you don't choose Duck, he does get saved.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
know?
okay.
Because you need Duck, because as we know,
Yeah.
He ultimately, has his fate decided for him in episode 3.
Yeah.
But episode 1 is the episode where you do make one very distinct choice, which is you choose whether to save Carly or Doug,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I think most people save Carly because, well, for one or two reasons. One, because she's a woman. Two, because she's got a gun.
Yeah.
The gun was the thing that drew me to it straight away.
Yeah. So you guys both saved Doug? Both saved Carly?
Yeah, both times.
See, and I didn't. I saved Doug.
Yeah.
Because Doug's brilliant. Doug's like some electrical whiz kid genius that starts rigging up contraptions in all the other episodes. He's like a maniac. He's like a walking A-team.
Okay, so at the end of episode 2, I think it's not Dan, it's his brother, the one that seems normal out of the two of them. Dan's the creepy one that you go to the camp
the two
with.
brothers in the
Andy.
All right.
There's a section at the end of 2 where Carly saves me by shooting someone. She shoots Andy in the chest or something, I think, when he's got me in a compromising position. So what happens there?
Is
with
that
Doug?
I think if I'm thinking of the right thing, I think that's the point where Doug's been talking to you earlier in the episode. You've been using a laser pointer for stuff that he's got, and at that point he shines a laser pointer in the guy's eyes.
Okay.
That's how Doug does it. Non-lethal Doug.
I don't remember Carly shooting someone to save me.
Yeah, it's Carly and Ben turn up because they
Yeah,
go
I
back.
know they
Go
turn
back to the motel, don't they?
Yeah.
And then you talk to them, and she shoots someone in the shoulder or something. I think it's Andy.
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't know why it was the best chapter.
Well, maybe it was different. Maybe it was different for you. Episode 2, I thought was really good because I didn't see the twist coming of like, oh my god, they're eating people, because you're also sort of like, wow, it's been like 3 months since the zombie apocalypse and you guys are already eating people. Like, are you nuts? I think we're supposed to believe that they are cannibals anyway.
Well, she kind of says, we was taught in the deep south that being raised in Georgia, you don't waste anything.
Yeah. So I think these are already screwed up people prior to this, because otherwise 3 months is a very quick turnaround for a normal family to suddenly start going, you know what, I'm going to start eating the living.
Yeah.
But I didn't see that coming, so I really like the story for episode 2. It's kind of cool, and there's loads of key moments, man. Larry getting his head crushed by a salt block is mental.
Yeah, it was like I was there just trying to save him. I was like, he's not going to go, And the salt block hits him. I was like, the fuck? Just out of nowhere, the salt block just crushed his skull.
See, I switched this time. I aided Kenny in killing Larry because I completely forgot when playing 2 that at the end of number 1, Larry punches you in the face and leaves you for zombies.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck this motherfucker. When it's his time to go, I'm going to be there holding his daughter back while Kenny just comes up and drops that salt block on his head.
But see, that's cool. That's what I liked about episode 2 is it's full of really small, contained, tense situations. That's a good example because they're trapped in a room and one of them's going to turn into a zombie.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh shit, I got to think fast. Yeah. I kind of like that.
It just has those awesome moments. I was just so brutal throughout that entire thing.
Yeah.
I was going to say, so there's the first creepy brother that you come across when you're escaping the room and you attack him.
Yeah.
What did you use to attack him with?
I used taser.
Yeah, I used
Sickle?
No, it wasn't a sickle. It was the other one. It was another sharp object.
I don't remember.
Yeah, either way, you fail every single time, and Larry's daughter saved you with a sickle, even if you use it.
Oh, really? Because it was Kenny that saved me in my last episode.
I
suppose it's because I helped kill her dad. So
okay.
So she was
exactly.
like
Our
traumatized.
games are not going to be the same.
No.
We have to realise that. But Joe's got a point of if I use the sickle, and even if you're using the sickle, it magically appears in her hands and she's using the sickle. But
Yeah, I hate Kenny after chapter 2 just because he sat there in the barn because I tried to help save Larry. He just doesn't help you at that point.
Right, where it's the chick that doesn't help you.
yeah, I had a problem with Kenny because Kenny I didn't want to hate, but I'd made a couple of, like as you're going through the game, I made a couple of decisions where it's like, oh, Kenny's going to remember that. And I'm like, no, don't remember that. That was a cock-up. Remember, I'm your buddy. And so throughout the levels, and the game does kind of push you in that way. It wants Kenny to be the wild card that you're not really sure about.
Yeah.
But I kept getting more negative with Kenny by accident than anything.
Yeah,
I wanted to be his buddy because I quite liked Kenny and his family. I was like felt sorry for him.
Yeah, because when you're in the pharmacy and Larry is banging on about duck being bitten and wants
Yeah.
to throw him out in the street or shoot him, and you try to defuse the situation and don't instantly side with Kenny, then Kenny remembers that, and it's like, and he brings it up at a later date. He's like, yeah, what did you do when Larry wanted to throw duck out in the street? And it's like, well, hang on, I've done loads of shit to like make your life better. I like feed your kid when I've got the rations at the beginning of 2. You know, I always make sure the kids are fed, including your kid
and wife.
I don't see you fucking going out and getting food.
Yeah, you just want to leave all the time. You know?
And so, like, and you kind of have joking bits with Kenny, and then he'll just throw the one negative thing that you've done in your face, and he's a bit flip-floppy.
But it pushes it. It's like when you confront Larry's daughter. I can't remember what her name is. When you confront his daughter in episode 2, and you're going like, we got to get out of here. She wants to stay at the like the hotel thing, the motel room, and you want to leave, and because Kenny's been going on about leaving for fucking ages. All through that episode, it's like, we got to get out of here. Fuck this place. And then you go there to kind of tell her we're going, like we're gonna like get her on board, and we're all gonna go, and she's not trusting anyone at that point. And he's siding with Kenny, and then like throughout that conversation, Kenny just gets so riled up and out of control that I ended up not siding with Kenny anymore. And I'm like, now this is all gone to shit. Like everyone hates me.
Just alienated everyone.
It's killer. But I think I have a feeling from the way it's going, Kenny's going to be around for quite some time.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, in episode 3, he's there still giving you grief. And obviously, episode 2 has the big revelation of there's other people, right? Episode 2 brings more people into the mix.
Yeah.
Like the crazy woman.
Yeah.
You know?
And the bandits.
Yeah.
And, the kind of relationship that they've got going on. Because she's... it's kind of convoluted. I don't know if she thinks... Because when she's talking to you in the wood, in the camp, it almost seems like she's either including you as a bandit or including you as a cannibal, but at the end it kind of says, well, she knows who you are because she's been recording you.
Yeah, well, Clementine.
Yeah, but you're in the videos. And it's like all the things that she's kind of saying to you and pointing at didn't really make a whole lot of sense. It wasn't kind of cohesive.
I don't know. Why can't she presume that you're either one of those?
Because she's recording you before you've come into contact with either of those parties.
Right.
I think she assumes you're part of the cannibals because you're with one at that point.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's kind of...
Yeah, you could have changed up until that,
I suppose you could have sided with them and know that they're cannibals and joined them, but it seemed like quite late.
Yeah.
But then she's nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, and dead.
Yeah, and ends up paying for being nuts anyway,
So I mean that's an interesting side of it. I mean, the Clementine story is getting quite deep because obviously the revelation at the end of... Is it at the end of 3?
It is at the end of 3.
Is that the walkie-talkie that she's carrying around with her not only works, which is like, whoa, shit, someone's on the other end of this walkie-talkie, but also that they've been talking to her for a considerable amount of time.
Right.
So where that's going, no one's really quite clear, but that's quite frightening. You don't know then, like, is Clementine giving out a load of information unknowingly to some threatening party?
Yeah.
Or what? Or is Clementine just being told stuff? There's also that random dude that turns up in 3, old man, crazy Bob, guitar dude.
Yeah.
Who's nuts.
Right.
He just comes out of nowhere while you're dealing with the train, trying to get the train working, and he comes out to nowhere and he's like, hey, I'm old and all by myself, and a little bit weird. And you're like, what? And then he's like, I've already met the rest of your team. They all like me. And you're like, what? That's not fucking... It's an immediate point where you're like, you're supposed to go through me first before you talk to anyone. You can't just like wander around the camp.
Where's your
sweets.
appointment? What the fuck?
Yeah. And so everyone's got like, he's been giving sweets to Clementine and stuff, and he's just like, I don't know who this dude is or why he's by himself or how he's still alive.
And then just ends up coming with you.
Yeah,
It's
he tags along. So
I reckon he started everything. I reckon he's the form of the
he's
apocalypse.
got an agenda. I like to think that there's something weird going on with him because like he's maybe not quite what he seems.
Well, then you can look forward to smashing his head in with a blunt object.
Yeah, that is true.
It does give you some useful advice through that chapter once you pick him up on the train about Clementine.
What advice?
Teaching her to use a gun, getting a map, starting a plan.
Cut her hair.
Yeah.
Cut her hair. You cut Clementine's hair.
Right, so zombies can't grab it. I
Yeah,
take it.
yeah, that's basically
that's good advice. Joe, cut your hair. You never know when a zombie outbreak's going to happen.
My hair's not long enough for it.
Here, P.
So what happened with... what is her name? What is Larry's daughter's name?
I can't remember. Linda.
Is it Linda?
Lucy.
I wanted to say it was Linda, but
It's
I'm not
not
entirely
Linda.
sure.
Lily.
Lily.
It's Lily. Right. So
Yeah.
Lily, what happened with Lily with you in episode 3, Joe?
So this was the incident that caused me to be so angry last week.
Right.
So as I saved Carly in the first chapter, kept her alive, kept talking to her, and I like Carly. She's friendly. I thought, maybe able to get the main character some action, because it's a zombie apocalypse. It can't all be completely terrible.
Right.
So you pile into the RV after the attack with the bandits, and you're heading out to wherever you're going. In the RV, she's accusing the guy. What's the young kid's name?
Ben.
Yeah, he's accusing Ben of giving away their medicine to the bandits and
Yeah, because
going
it's been
crazy
found
and-
out that someone has been giving supplies to the bandits, leaving them out for them, and the bandits, they were attacked by the bandits. So there's a traitor within the group, and you
Right.
don't know who it is, and everyone's denying it. And Lily's going nuts. She just wants to know. She's
Yeah.
not prepared to travel any further without knowing who this person is.
Yeah, so the RV hits a zombie and pulls over at the side of the road. So you're just there at the side of the road, all having a massive argument. And I was just trying to diffuse the whole thing. I was just like, look, just calm down. We'll sort it out later to Lily. She's not having any of it. Just going for Ben. So after a couple of times of attempting to change the situation, I was just pointing the finger at Ben. And it's like, look, he's cracking. It's him. Just go after
so
him.
you were agreeing with her, going,
Yeah.
Ben's the bad one.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't. I was doing the opposite. I was going, leave Ben alone. Ben's all right. Calm the fuck down.
Yeah, that's what I was doing up until the point where the gun goes off. And then
Yeah.
I was just like, no, it's Ben. It's Ben. It's always Ben. It was Ben just going after him.
So what happens? How did Carly die? What happened when the gun went off?
Right.
How did the gun go off? Tell
Right,
us
so
that.
what it is you're pointing the finger at Ben, and then Lily's just going mental at Ben. Carly turns around and starts calling her a bitch and all of this and starts going for it. And Carly turns around to talk to Kenny, and as she's turning back, Lily just shoots her in the head. The gun doesn't go off, she just shoots her deliberately at the side of the road. And I was just like, what the fuck have you just
So
done?
she intentionally
She
chose
shoot-
Carly. She killed Carly. It wasn't an accident.
No, she shoots her deliberately because she's called her a bitch and gone after her, even though I've been pointing the finger at Ben. Just shoots her at the side of the road.
That's nuts. Because in mine, Doug is shot by accident.
Yeah.
Doug accidentally steps into the line of fire.
Right.
As she's going to shoot some other character, and I think probably is Ben, and he just gets taken out, and everyone's like, "What the fuck?" Like, that's Doug. That's like laser beam Doug, gone. And like, whoa, he did nothing. He was like the nicest guy in the world. He fancied Carly. Remember, he gave us all this grief about how he was like, "Why did you have to save me? I quite fancied Carly." Like in the first episode, so he's gone, and then you're like, "Well, Lily, you're a nutbag." So you have an option then. You can leave her at the side of the road and just go, or you can take her with you. And what did you do?
I just left her. Fuck her. She just shot Carly for no reason.
Yeah, see, I was in a different place because mine didn't have that outburst of anger in the same way. Mine was sort of like, man, this is fucked up. And everyone's kicking off now, and I'm like, all right, we'll take you with her and we'll decide what to do with you like later down the line. So I took her with me.
Yeah. See, if I had Doug and it was an accident, I wouldn't have been so angry. It was just the fact that she deliberately shot her.
Yeah. Well, it was partly, I tell you what, it was partly because of what happened with her father.
Yeah.
And the salt block incident, I was like, okay, you get like a pass on this one. I'll take you with me, and I'm not happy, but we'll figure this out.
That was my stance through the beginning of that chapter. I was trying to be nice to her and play the middle ground between Kenny and Lily. And that just went completely out the window as soon as she shot Carly.
So then later in the episode, she's in the RV, locked up there while we're all working on the train, trying to get this train working so we can go to the coast. And I needed to go to the RV for something. I can't remember, to pick up a pencil or something crazy like that. And when you go to the RV, she's sat there and you talk to her for a little bit. And you go down to the front of the RV, look at the bits. And when you turn around, she's behind you.
Right.
Still cuffed, still with her hands tied together or whatever, pointing a gun at you. And she's like, you're going to let me go. And like, yeah, I'm not supposed to let you go. And she kicks you out of the RV and then steals the RV. And just took off. And I was like, well, now I don't have an RV.
Yeah. See, in mine, she's just stood there in the middle of the road, no weapons or anything, and the zombies coming after her, and I had no guilt
But you
whatsoever.
still have an RV?
Yeah, well, no, we just left the RV behind.
Really? Where? Oh, what,
Where the train is.
Yeah. No, so that's why it's interesting, because the RV doesn't matter. It seems like a really big deal. When she nicks the RV, I'm like, oh my god, the RV is gone. But then it's like, well, it doesn't matter, because we're going to get on this train for the next... that's it.
Yeah.
The next mode of transport is this train. What they need, in terms of the story, is they need for Lily to be alive. They need Lily to be alive for two reasons. One, she may come back.
More than likely.
And give us shit.
To
And
get revenge.
two, she's in the comics.
Oh,
so
right.
she's not going to go anywhere. You know, she's not going to die. That was never going to happen.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's interesting. And now we're on our way, and there's some crazy old dude. And Clementine's talking to people. She's doing, she's on the phone all the time.
And obviously Duck and his mum aren't there anymore.
No, they're dead.
Yes.
They're dead because Duck got bitten and then went mental. He didn't go mental. He just died. Did they kill him?
No.
Did Kenny shoot Duck?
No. You have the choice. It's the option where they finally admit that he's going to turn. You can offer to shoot
I did
the
offer.
child.
I was like, I'll do it.
Yeah, but it's like the mum carries Kenny out into the woods. You hear the gun go off.
Oh, yeah, and she's killed both of them.
No, she shot herself. And
Kenny's still... And Duck is still alive.
Yeah.
And then Kenny has to... Kenny's like, I've got to kill him now because he's seen his wife dead. And you're like, I'll do it. I'll do it if you want. And he's like, no, I'll do it. And then Kenny does it.
No, I'd done it anyway. I was like, I'll do it. And he just let me do it. So I was like, yeah, sure, why not? And just shot the kid.
Nice. Tasteless, Joe.
Well, at that point, I just didn't give a fuck about that game.
Yeah, I suppose. So it's interesting. I don't know where it's going. We're on a train now. I'm hoping the next episode will be off the train. Like I won't still be on this train.
The entire episode on the train.
Yeah, I want it to just kind of start, and it's like, yay, we're here.
So there's only what, 2 more episodes?
2 more episodes, and then they are doing a season 2.
Right, okay. That's quite interesting.
Yeah, so it'd be cool. I mean, I would quite like this to just run constantly, like a TV show, which is always there.
But at some time, surely it's got to peter out. Surely
you're going to get drop off. There's less people now that have played episode 3 than have played episode 1, obviously. And yeah, you need a new starting point for new players. And I guess that's what they're doing with like season 2. It's kind of like, come in here. But I've absolutely loved this.
Yeah, I loved it up to a point. I'll finish it, but yeah.
Yeah, and you've still not even played episode 3,
no, because of technical issues.
Yeah.
My girlfriend was very disappointed because I sat and played 1 and 2, like I said the other night, and she's like, "Are you going to play episode 3? You going to play episode 3?" And I was like, "It don't work." She's like, "Damn it! It's like I've been watching a film for the past 4 hours, and I missed the ending."
Yeah, it's definitely worth doing. If you haven't played the Walking Dead episodes, then you really should, because they're like 400 points. You can just give first one.
And it's kind of thing if you've got a partner that complains a lot about the amount of time you play video games. This is like a free pass. You can play this and they can sit there and watch it, and it is quite visual and it's quite entertaining.
Yeah,
and it is telling a story more than anything.
Yeah, it's cool. It's good.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
All right, well, should we do a little bit of news then?
Yeah,
because there's been quite a lot of stuff that's happened. There was like a new iPhone announced, which we're going to call the iPhone 5 for numerical reasons. I don't really care about the iPhone 5.
Neither do I.
Sounds like a lot of people don't. I had a mate that was going to buy one. He was like waiting to upgrade and going, I'll wait for the iPhone 5. And then they announced, and he went, I'm going to get a Samsung Galaxy S3.
His complaint was it didn't do enough new.
Yeah, it didn't wow him, And I think that's fair at that point in Apple's life where it's like, you're doing this a lot now, guys. You're reiterating a lot. So, so that's cool. What it means for games, who knows? There was some interesting footage of Real Racing 3, I think it was. It was showing us like a dedicated game for it. It did look fucking amazing.
Right.
Like, we are at that point where it's like, crikey, this little thing looks as good as like some of my next-gen games.
Yeah.
Just bizarre. But yeah, so I'm mentioning it because you got to mention it. It's an iPhone 5. But I don't really care all that much, really. In terms of other announcements, the Wii U got a release date. What is it, November 30th?
I think so.
I think it's November 30th over here, and it's like November 8th in America, I believe, and it's like December in Japan.
That's crazy.
So we're not doing too badly out of that. It's got 2 SKUs, which is kind of strange. It's got like a core package and then like a premium package.
Yeah, it's really weird the way they've done it.
Is it weird, Joe?
You'd think that like the premium one would have a lot more hard drive space than the core one.
I guess so. Yeah. So the main difference between them is the little one has only 8 megabytes. 8 gigabytes, rather. 8 megabytes would be
that would be a real small memory.
Get a couple of NES games and that's it. No, the little one has 8 gigabytes worth of storage space, and the bigger one has 32.
Yeah.
Now that isn't a lot.
That's both. It's pants.
When you consider things like Mark of the Ninja, the XBLA release was like nearly 2 gigs.
Yeah.
You're going to fill up that 32 very quickly.
Yeah.
If Nintendo go that route, you'd think future-proofing, they're almost certainly going to have to, right?
Yeah, I mean, they kind of have something very similar to the marketplace on Wii already, so you'd assume that they're going to follow that line.
Yeah, but they don't
digital
put much up there. I mean, they're starting to. There's a lot of some of the launch games are coming out as digital as well, but they haven't really been doing that before. It's just been sort of like smaller stuff, like the WiiWare stuff and Virtual Console.
Yeah.
So yeah, that strikes me as a little bit strange. Anyway, price wise, it was what, 250, sort of 260, 259.
Yeah, it's 260 and 310.
Right. Okay, which is all right. You know, it's interesting because 310 is quite a lot for Nintendo to be charging for a console. It's certainly a lot to be charging for a console that's coming out that is comparable to consoles that are already out.
Yeah.
That are going to be, that are like half the price.
Yeah.
So like, how would you, Sony are about to announce their Slim. It's going to be like 160 quid or whatever. At Christmas, that is going to clean up over a Wii U. It's just there's no, they're comparable machines in terms of power. And yet one is half the price of the other. So
and plus, the thing you've got to remember is a lot of what sells is based around peer pressure. Not necessarily peer pressure, but what your peers have. You're going to buy a console because your mates are playing Call of Duty on a specific console.
Well, I think it's that, but also just the new cool thing does count for a lot of it as well.
Yeah, that's what
I think
Nintendo are relying on. I think
if they tackle, and they should, because that's consumerism, right?
Yeah.
Like, we buy the new coolest thing, but if they combine that with, they've shown Black Ops 2 on Wii U.
Right.
Yeah.
Although interestingly, there's not a lot of chat and multiplayer going on there, so that's an issue.
Yeah.
But they could. The stuff they showed when they did this conference, they showed a lot of games as well. One of which we'll talk about in a bit, which was a bit of a shock. But they seem to be trying hard and getting it right and getting something out there for the more hardcore crowd, for us guys, really. But it's still strange. I find the splitting of the Wii U SKUs just bizarre. Because Microsoft did it with the arcade or the core unit and their ones. But generally, it's not a great idea to split your market from the get-go. To immediately create a split in your thing.
Sure.
It's good to be able to offer a cheaper unit. That's kind of the reason for it, right? You're giving people choice. People like choice, and cheap is good. But I'm not sure that's the best idea from the beginning.
Because these hard drives, they're flash memory, aren't they? They're built into the console. They're not like removable or anything.
No. Yeah, it's not got a hard drive as standard.
You can't then go out and buy a new hard drive and slot it in. You can add other devices to store.
Yeah, I think that's
via USB hanging off. But the difference between that and an Xbox is once you maxed out your memory or you've got more money, you can then go and buy a hard drive and clip it into your console.
I think their only argument for that would be this is cheaper and works exactly the same way. Because it's definitely that's. Plugging in a USB hard drive is cool. You can have a terabyte drive attached to it. For peanuts.
But the thing is, you've then got a device dangling off via USB, which is a pain in the arse.
I just don't think many people upgrade their internal hard drives as such. But that's cool. It depends what they offer. If they don't offer much for it, or you're not into digital stuff, it's not really going to be an issue. Yeah. They did say as well, actually, that they're not going to be selling the control pads, the screen pads at launch. Because none of the games support more than one.
Right.
So why do you need one?
Yeah.
They're also saying they're going to be about 170 quid.
Yeah.
Which is a lot, but then we always thought it was going to be a lot anyway. We can bitch about that all we want, but what they're stressing is this: just you don't need more than one. One is what you have, and I think it's going to be a while before we see games that maybe take advantage of more than one. Anyway.
I understand your point of view. Nintendo's point of view. At the same time, my concern is if one goes down, then you're replacing it for 170 quid.
Yeah, but
then almost the cost of the console itself.
But then you've got that same issue if your console goes down.
To a degree.
No, exactly. Not to a degree. No, tell me what you meant by to a degree.
To a degree, because you don't pick up your console. You don't move your console around. Your console sits there and does jack.
It has moving parts.
Yes, appreciate it, but it's not being swung around. It's not being held. It's not at a height that can be dropped and broken.
Okay, but I still think it's not. I don't think I've not broken an Xbox 360 pad in 5 years, so I'm not too concerned about dropping I haven't broken my iPad.
Right.
I haven't broken my iPhone.
Right.
I'm not concerned about breaking my Wii U.
But as a store manager, I've had obviously stories.
Yeah, people
smashing their televisions with a Wii remote.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, sure. But fuck those people, right? They have to go and buy another one. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you can't pussyfoot around a very small minority of people to go, well, we should make our pad cheaper then. They should be more careful with it. They're buying.
Yeah, but
I think what it
you
is.
can't say that about
I think-
kids playing game systems.
But I think that's what it is. You have to be aware of what you're playing with. Do you know what I mean? The reason I haven't dropped or broken my iPad is because it's a damn expensive piece of kit. You know, and you need to think of this Wii U pad as not a SNES pad. You know, so you've got to be more careful with it. Of course you have. And I think people automatically will because it's weightier, it's got a screen in it, it does more. You know? And kids are an issue, but then the Wii U has that setup where it's like, well, you know what, you're going to be using as a kid, you're going to be using a Wiimote as a kid, aren't you? And I'm going to be using the, you know...
But the thing is, the Wii U's not going to be coming with the standard Wiimote, is it?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't come with one.
So it just comes with the gamepad.
Yeah,
so.
they make a deal of like, all your old stuff will work with it, but it's like we don't give you one. It's weird that they don't give you a Wii U,
that
you
is
know, a
fucked
remote.
up.
And all the new Wiimotes that are coming out to be sold are being branded as Wii U before it's even out now.
Yeah.
So that's really bizarre because that now says you cannot play your games console straight out of the box. Well, you can because you can use it as a joypad.
Yeah, that's the whole point. It is the controller. But it's strange that you're not getting the now more conventional Nintendo controller of the Wiimote with it, which is weird. And also, it's because you know, people have said the Wii U pad with the screen in it. It's not that much. It's not very comfortable to play games.
Yeah, it looks fucking horrible.
You try and play Black Ops on that, and it's too big and unwieldy. You know, that's why they bring out the Pro controller as well.
Yeah.
To give you the more sort of Xbox-like experience, and that's not in the box either. So it's a strange setup.
It's looking odd.
I mean, they've said the pre-orders have been through the roof, like phenomenal amounts. So it's possible that this is going to do gangbusters when it comes out. It's strange. I don't know. It's still cool. I'm still interested in it. And they showed some good stuff.
Yeah, I just want to have a go on one.
Yeah. Well, not long, man. Not long. Like, what is it? Month after next, and it'll be here. So.
I should hopefully be able to play it in a couple of weeks. So, you know.
And it's obviously at Eurogamer. Anyone's going to the Eurogamer Expo will be able to go. Is that what you were chatting about?
Yeah.
Right, next time, why don't you just say Eurogamer Expo instead of being a fucking secret
Because
squirrel.
he's Mr. Mystery Joe.
Like fucking, I might be able to play in a couple of weeks. Along with everyone else at the Eurogamer Expo.
Yeah.
So that's cool. They announced Bayonetta 2. Okay, so Bayonetta 2 not only got announced as like, yo, Bayonetta 2, yo, is what they said. That's what the press release said.
Right.
2 yos. But it's a freaking Wii U exclusive, which is, I don't know how to make that.
You're clearly speechless.
Yeah, I'm like, damn, I've got to buy a Wii U now. Like, it's Platinum Games that obviously continue. It's a direct sequel to Bayonetta. But Nintendo are publishing it. Yeah. And weirdly, Sega are kind of like on the sidelines, like peering over a wall, like, we're just looking after it. You know, they're advising.
Right.
Because remember, Bayonetta was rammed full of old classic Sega references.
Yeah.
I'm guessing Bayonetta 2 won't be now.
No.
Or maybe it'll have Nintendo references.
But
who knows?
We've seen with Wreck-It Ralph that Nintendo can be a bit precious, can't they?
Yeah, exactly. But
yeah, that's certainly not the killer app that's going to get me to buy their console.
It's shocking that you don't like Bayonetta. You need to give it more of a chance because it is a phenomenal game.
I completed it.
And yet you didn't grasp it.
I didn't like it.
I'm not concerned about Bayonetta 2 being a Wii U exclusive.
I think it's a big deal for Wii U. It's it's because it's a very hardcore game. It's very targeted, and the fans of Bayonetta 2 are, you know, of Bayonetta rather, are a diehard bunch, and that's not a Nintendo bunch. Like, I think it's a real concerted effort by Nintendo to go, we want that. You know, people have cried out for Bayonetta 2 for a long time, and all obviously Platinum have been talking about is that Mad World sort of sequel, and so there's been no talk of Bayonetta 2 at all, and so this seems like a really devious and obvious way of Nintendo going, yo, fans want Bayonetta 2? Yeah, we got Bayonetta 2, and we're going to publish it, and it's going to be ours. So, yeah, it may not be the biggest announcement in the world, but damn, it's like now I know for sure that the Wii U has one game I definitely want to play.
Sure.
And I can't play it on any system I currently own. That annoys me.
I think there's two games that you definitely want to play, isn't it?
Well, Lego Undercover.
And quite interested in Zombie U.
Yeah, Zombie U is apparently very good.
It's looking amazing.
So it's free games.
Yeah.
You've got more and more reasons to buy one.
It's not doing badly. All these games are launch window.
Yeah, which is
up to March, I believe. Yeah.
But I think the majority of them before December. There's only a few.
I mean, that's standard practice for these sorts of things. I'm not too worried about that. But yeah, Wii U, it's kind of real. I kind of forgot about it, but it's kind of a real thing that's coming out in like a couple of months.
Yeah.
Is anyone going to pick one up?
No,
probably not. Not first.
So I think I might. If I see more that takes me and I'm interested in it, then I might get it. Weirdly enough, for all that we're saying is weird about the two SKUs, I'd go for the littler one,
Right.
It's not something I can see me ever doing a lot of heavy digital downloading stuff onto it for. I'll be doing that through my other platforms.
Sure.
But yeah, I'm curious to play one.
I think it hasn't got a killer app for me yet. The Lego City's kind of close, but I don't think that's enough for me to warrant getting one.
Well, there was other announcements as well then that they put with it. One was this TVU thing.
Yeah.
Is it called TVU? I can't remember what it's called.
No, I think it's just Nintendo TV.
With VII.
Yeah.
Like a Wii.
Right.
With a V. Yeah, and this is quite cool actually. This was quite a big announcement. It's kind of basically like a hub, like a TV hub, that software hub that works through your control unit.
Yep.
That allows you to stream video content from a number of different services.
Yes.
So like Netflix on your 360, but you'd be getting it through your pad.
Yeah.
And Hulu and any other partners that they partner with for it.
So yeah, it has them all up on that one screen. You flick through, find what you want, you click on it, and it comes up the different services which you can stream it from.
Right.
Yeah. So that's quite cool.
Yeah.
That's quite
That's
nice. Like,
interesting.
that has a use. That's a sort of like, yeah, you want to watch something while I'm watching TV? Cool, you can do that. So that was interesting.
Yeah.
Wii U, man. Wii U. Some other news then is Microsoft renewed. This was kind of a weird story. Microsoft renewed the trademark for Killer Instinct. Now, Microsoft always had the Killer Instinct trademark because of Rare and various other nonsense. And there's been a spate in the last year or so of people always trawling these trademark sites to find, they do the same with patents and things. Just go, oh, someone's bought this URL. That means the game's coming. It's freaking out. 9 times out of 10 it amounts to nothing. But what was interesting about this was Microsoft renewed the trademark for Killer Instinct and then announced
told everyone.
Yeah, they were like, yo, we've renewed the trademark for Killer Instinct. Just like beating you
And
to
they
it.
went, that's it.
Yeah. So something is happening with that. It's an interesting thing. Exactly what, I don't know. It could be a new Killer Instinct game. I'd imagine it's more likely to be
a
like
HD
a Killer
remix.
Instinct, for XBLA. So that's cool. I'm up for more Killer Instinct. Orchid, man, Orchid. She was cool. Have you played Killer Instinct, Joe?
I think I do remember it. Was it on PlayStation 1?
No, it was a Nintendo franchise.
Yeah, then I have no clue what it is. I think I've got completely
Ooh,
lost there. Yeah.
I think something's going to happen next week.
It's
then.
unbelievable. Yeah, it was made by Rare.
Yeah.
It was on the N64 and Super Nintendo.
Super Nintendo, yeah. I've got it on Super Nintendo. Black cartridge.
Yeah. In fact, sod it. We're going to do that for Edge Game Joe next week. I don't care. I've made that decision now based on your ineptitude. So yeah, Killer Instinct. I'd love to see it back. It's a good game.
I don't know.
It was the other fighter. It was always the underdog fighter, but it was different. The combos were mental. They were ultra.
Yeah, but at the same time, they're kind of
They were ultra.
QTE.
They were ultra. They weren't QTE.
No, they weren't, because once you pull off that initial opener, it's not like you were pressing those buttons. You could extend the ultra combo.
Yeah.
By doing a combo build up for it.
But it was crazy. You get like ridiculous 100 hits combos and stuff. I suppose that's less impressive now because a lot of games do that.
Yeah.
Because of like the rise of Devil May Cry and Bayonetta and things like that. But back then it was kind of like, how many hits? How is this possible? How has my N64 not exploded into a fucking array of punches?
So did you play it a lot? Did you play Killer Instinct Gold a lot on N64?
Yeah. That was my main one.
I never played
That
it.
was my main
I have played it. I didn't play it extensively.
Yeah.
Everyone I knew hated it.
That was
Everyone I knew played it on Super Nintendo.
It wasn't so much of a fact of like I loved it more than anything in the world. It was a case of this was the fighting game we had. Right?
And then they added fatalities in Gold as well, didn't they?
What other fighting games we played on N64? It's like there wasn't really anything.
No, there was
more
like some
combat.
barbarian thing. Yeah.
So yeah, Killer Instinct. I'm kind of psyched for that, and be interesting to see what is going to happen. If Rare are even doing anything with it, or if it's a new game or whatever. Who knows? So yeah, cool. Minecraft Creative Mode's coming. Apparently,
Yep.
You guys were chatting about it on the break. I heard you having a secret chat.
We were, yeah. From what I understand, it's the actual build of it is pretty much done. It hasn't gone into confirmation with Microsoft yet.
Right.
About a month, I'm hearing.
Yeah, well, certification normally takes about 2 weeks. So once it goes in, it's probably about 2 weeks from that point. But that's cool. That means it is coming, and it's coming soon.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which I kind of need now. I kind of want to build. I want to just
It needs
build.
the villages. It needs like the traps and stuff.
Yeah, they're getting dangerously close to indie games surpassing them otherwise, and that's it's kind of weird. All right, yeah, that's kind of cool. Michael Dawn, everyone's favourite Klingon. Yeah, that's actually a valid point. I think he is everyone's favourite Klingon.
Helm, give me ramming speed.
There you go. See, obviously played Worf in Star Trek: Next Generation and Deep Space Nine.
Yep.
I don't know if he popped up in anything else, but Worf was cool, right? He had the whole head thing.
Oh man, he makes First Contact. He's so fucking badass in that movie.
See?
He's gangster.
There you go. He's well, first of all, actually, not only was he trying to get another Star Trek series about Worf, right? Which has not gone well, apparently. But I'd be curious to see. If Star Trek, 10 years ago, he had a point, but like maybe not now. But anyway, Michael Dorn is working on a Castlevania movie. He's in a Castlevania movie. He was on a podcast last week and just kind of went, "Yeah, Castlevania movie, we're making it. Some dudes wanted to make it, so I'm in it." He plays a werewolf.
Right. Do we know if it's got Belmonts?
I know nothing about it. I just know that it's a Castlevania movie and Michael Dorn's in it, which gives you an idea of the level of celebrity that they're going for.
He's a werewolf.
Yeah. Oh no, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
I mean, I'm be curious to see. Obviously, he's going to have a lot of like prosthetics and makeup and stuff like that. I wonder if they'll be able to get rid of his Klingon head for the wolf.
Cover it with fur.
Yeah, because that's quite an issue. But yeah, cool. That's two of my favourite things, Castlevania and Michael Dorn, combined into one beautiful news story. Can't wait for that. Do you remember last week we were talking about the Bohemia Interactive devs, the Arma 2 and Arma 3 guys that were in Greece, some Greek island, photographing a military base, and then the pigs, the fuzz, came up and were like, "You can't do that, this is espionage." And they were like, "This isn't espionage, you fucking idiots, we're game makers." And they went, "It's espionage, follow me. Follow me in these handcuffs." And then they led them away to a prison cell. And it was all kind of like, oh Christ, game developers done for espionage. That's not on. Anyway, this week they've released a statement from Greek prison,
right,
saying, it's not great here.
Kind of like Greek yogurt. It's not great.
It's all right, but it's not great. Generally, people are understanding, and we hope to have. They said it's a simple process, and we should have it all sorted out soon. And I'm just sitting there thinking, you've spent a week in prison. That already is not soon enough, right? Yeah. And somehow you're getting on Kotaku with your news stories from prison. Bohemian Interactive, 2 devs still in prison somewhere, going, "We didn't do it. Look, we make games. We didn't.
It was that guy.
Yeah.
That guy.
It's not even my camera. You'd think that would be sorted out pretty quickly. I don't know how they deal with that. You go, "Was that espionage?" And they go, "No, it wasn't espionage." And they're like, "All right, off you go. We'll keep your cameras though, or your film, or your compact flash card." But I don't know. Maybe they went, "Was this espionage?" And one of the guys went, "Yes, no," and they went, "Right, that's it. 7 days in the slammer. We'll talk to you later, you bad boys." I don't know, but it really shocked me that they're even in prison in the first place. I thought it was kind of like, espionage sounds bad, right? It sounds serious, which is why this news story was funny in the first place. But it didn't sound that serious. So I thought it would just go, "Of course it's not espionage. You silly people."
The Greeks seem to take this espionage malarkey quite seriously.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they've got some alien shit.
Yeah, they've got something there. Yeah, there's something there like with the.
They seem quite jumpy. I didn't think the Greeks would be that far ahead of everybody else.
There's
arresting people constantly.
There's a bunker somewhere where if you press 2 buttons at once and then turn 2 keys at exactly the same time, jets come out of the side of Greece and the entire thing flies out of the ocean and goes back to the planet Sparta or something. I don't know.
Maybe.
What are they hiding? What are you got to hide, eh?
The more they arrest people, the more suspicious
we need to send more games developers over there with cameras just to take photos of stuff,
And the more suspicious I am that they've got a transformer.
Yeah, it is possible. So, all right, that's interesting. That's our news for this week, I think.
It was pretty good news.
Shall we do some educating, Joe?
Let's educate the shit out of him.
Once upon a time, there was a boy named Joe. He didn't play many video games as a child. He was too busy out running and jumping through fields, perhaps stealing apples. But then one day, he found himself inexplicably on a video game podcast, and 2 guys, Mike and Sean, vowed to take him back through time to play the games he missed. This is Educating Joe.
Okay, Educating Joe, the phenomenon that is Bomberman. This was initially going to be Super Bomberman because that's what I played a lot as a kid, and so I was like, yeah, we should play Super Bomberman. And you have played some Super Bomberman.
Yeah, I played it today.
But we've moved it beyond that. We've taken it bigger. We've expanded it. We've flipped and reversed it, and then reversed it again, and then flipped it again, so it's back to its normal amount.
Right.
And we played all Bombermans. We played Bomberman Live today, the three of
Yeah.
us together in the Ultimate Royal Rumble Showdown, which was cool.
Yeah.
Because I'm brilliant at Bomberman.
You're right.
And this was the second time I've ever played Bomberman.
Yeah.
I can crack under pressure.
So Bomberman's great. Bomberman, we're going to talk about sort of like vanilla Bomberman. Yeah, like natural Bomberman. Classic maps, classic moves. None of this getting on kangaroo backs nonsense and stupid bombs. Classic Bomberman, right? Where, what is it? Let's explain what Bomberman is to someone who's been living underneath a rock.
Like Joe.
One screen, everything takes place on the one screen. It's divided into a grid, and there's blocks in the grid, and there's destructible blocks.
And interspersed with non-destructible blocks.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that is true, right? Yeah, that's true.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And you can put down a bomb. You're a bomb man. Your little character is almost sort of top-down view. You can put down a bomb. You move away from your bomb. Your bomb blows up. It will blow up the block that can be blown up.
Yep.
And
sometimes it has items.
And sometimes there's items in it, which are power-ups. They make your bomb blast longer because the bombs explode in a plus symbol.
Yep.
Right? Outwards. And every time you get a little flame pickup, you can make that flame spread wider.
Yep.
You can also put down more bombs. You can also speed up your character. You can get punches and kicks to move bombs.
Yep.
And that's it. And there's 4 of you going at the same time, and you just try and, or up to 8 people going at the same time, really. But 4 is what I remember the most. It's a classic, good number. And you just try and kill each other.
Yeah.
With bombs.
Used to have serious marathons on this game.
Yeah. Well, we did. We almost did today.
Yeah.
We're recording a little bit later than normal because we
Quite a
started
lot
playing it
later.
beforehand, and it was like, damn, Bomberman.
I just want to play Bomberman all day.
Yeah. What can you say about Bomberman? I've always loved Bomberman. I kind of love the way Bomberman himself looks.
Yeah.
He's a wicked
He's
design.
a classic
He looks a
design.
bit like Dig Dug, basically.
Yeah, years back when they used to have those classic designs, we could always, tell each one apart.
Yeah. Yeah, Joe. Yeah.
I am seriously tempted now to get live.
Yeah, no, I would advise against it because Bomberman Live actually isn't very good.
Right.
I think there's another maybe 2 Bomberman games on Xbox Live.
Oh, really?
That are probably better, but Bomberman Live is a bit weird. I think it's got microtransactions in it, but I'm not sure. It's just not got a lot of modes. There's not a lot of levels, not a lot of anything.
Right.
I bought it. It came out ages ago.
Yeah,
so
sure.
That's but it's got classic mode a la SNES, which is what we were playing today with kind of no frills stuff. What I love about Bomberman is everything, and what I hate about Bomberman is nothing. It's great fun to play. It's really tactical. I love how you constantly have to keep aware in your mind of how long your own flames are. You're like, okay, it's 2 blocks.
And you're kind of
right
guessing what level everybody else's flames are.
Yeah. And timing. I love the timing aspect. You're like, I put a bomb down. I know that in 3 seconds that's going to go off. Right, so you're like, because it might be safe to stand right next to a bomb. You don't need to stand right next to a bomb for 2 seconds of its 3-second timer and then move away at the last second because you've been dodging other bombs. Yeah. When there's no blocks left and 4 players and some of you are dropping 6 bombs each, it can get fucking hectic, especially if you've got maxed out flames that the grid has just been obliterated by this firewall. It gets seriously intense. And what happens 9 times out of 10 in Bomberman, as you found out, Joe, is that you kill yourself.
It is a occupational hazard for a Bomberman.
It was just great fun earlier, just charging round. It was trying to pay attention to what everyone else is doing whilst paying attention to what you're doing and keep moving forwards.
Yeah, but there's times when you're kind of concentrating on what you're doing and maybe one other opponent that used to kind of having a little one-on-one battle in a corner and somebody else drops a bomb but their flame goes the entire length of the screen. And then you're just screwed. It is genius in its simplicity.
There were a lot of sneaky moves being played today as well. Just bombs being thrown all over the place.
Yeah, it's the power-ups that make it sneaky, isn't it? Because you can get like a punch power-up, like a boxing glove, which allows you to you can stand next to a bomb and you can literally punch it and it'll move 3 spaces.
Yeah.
which is handy for getting if someone you go into a little alcove to get a power up or something, and someone just puts a bomb on the entrance, and you're like, you're stuck there now. I'm going to watch you for 3 seconds squirm and then die. A punch will get you out of that. But the other thing the punch lets you do is it lets you punch bombs over blocks.
Yep.
And it will keep bouncing along a row of blocks until there's no blocks in its way, and it will just sit
there.
But that also means you can punch it over the screen sides.
Yep.
So I can punch it off the right hand side of the screen and it will come in on the left, which is great for just sort of like,
if you get your glove early, you can really screw people over quite early on in the game.
Because if a bomb lands on you when you're just wandering about, you'll like dizzy you for a bit, and then you can get away.
It stuns you for like a second and a half or something, doesn't it?
It's dicey. And then the kick is very similar. The kick allows you to just walk into bombs, and you'll kick them away.
Yeah.
And they'll keep rolling until you like pull the right trigger or whatever button on whatever system, and it will stop in place.
Yeah.
So you can just like see a guy, kick your bomb as he moves. You can judge where he's going to go, stop it, and then the timer starts for that bomb once it stops.
Yeah.
But then on top of that, there's like detonators, so you can remotely detonate bombs. You can get multiple bombs to put down. Speed up as we've talked about. There's power bombs that like go the full length of the screen.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It always starts off breaking into 2 mini matches, is what I always did. So it was me and Sean were on one side, Mike, you were on the other, and we also had an AI like opponent just to make it an even 4.
James.
So it's called James now. So yeah, me and Sean always end up breaking out into a fight between the two of us while she went after the computer, destroyed it. And then at some point it'd either be me or Sean left, or both of us, and then all 3 of us would end up in a fight or something.
I like the fact that because like we were playing for a bit, and then halfway through we were like, let's put on a computer player, let's just add one.
Yeah.
And then all it became of my mission every game was to just
kill
take him out straight away, so it's just us. So he didn't matter. Like, and if I'd achieved that, then it was just like we were playing 3 of us anyway.
Yeah.
Right?
I think out of nowhere he did manage to win one game as well.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. I think I fucked up and he won. But yeah, the downside to Bomberman is that it's kind of got very little staying power as a single player game.
Single player was dog shit. Although the SNES Super Bomberman had some cool bosses.
Yeah, they kind of big ones.
I managed to take one down.
Left and right.
Yeah. They all had sort of almost like a parodious, like Pop and Twin B style to them. It was like octopuses and things, and slightly mechanical and animal stuff. They were cool. I kind of like those. I mean, the levels change quite a lot. Super Bomberman. I mean, all the Bombermans have different ones, but Super Bomberman had a few. Like there'll be, they won't always just be blocks that you can break and blocks you can't break. Sometimes there'll be like teleporters or holes you can go down, or you can put bombs down and they'll appear somewhere else, or conveyor belts, things like that. Also, we're forgetting the fact that after like the time limit, which is normally about 2 minutes, runs out, the level gets smaller. Like blocks come in, fill in the sides,
and it goes
just
like
sudden death. Condense it down so it's like, get on with it, guys. Can someone nuke someone else?
Yeah, we did come across some great game modes in there as well. So there was the one where there was no indestructible blocks. There was just loads of power ups in the center with chests all around it.
Yeah.
And so it's just trying to get in there first, get as many power-ups, and then just everyone just running around the screen trying to blow each other up. And it just becomes mental because you do not know what you're doing. I
do love it. I think it's a great little game. It's got wicked music, it's got wicked power-ups, it's like, how can you not love Bomberman?
It brought me to the conclusion that literally everyone, it should be the game that they give away free with an Xbox 360.
Right, yeah.
Everyone should have it on their system for when your mates come round.
Yeah, it's a good couch co-op game.
Yeah, it would be perfect for that. Even on SNES, it still looks great.
Well, I think the SNES is the best looking version.
Yeah.
We were playing Bomberman Live today, and they've slightly changed the design of Bomberman.
I don't know, Saturn might be.
But no, because he was slightly thinner and slightly taller in the Saturn version. And in the SNES version, it was only 4 players. It was Red Bomberman, Blue Bomberman, White Bomberman, and Black Bomberman.
Yeah.
And they look good. They're good proportions. An Xbox Live version of it cutesifies them a little bit more, makes them 3D, and it's sort of like slightly.
And then you can customize them on Xbox as well.
Yeah, exactly, and use avatars and various other things. So SNES Bomberman is kind of, that's how I like the look of it. It does look good. It still looks good.
Yeah.
The title screen with the whole doodle doodle ding doodle ding ding ding, and you get the like hot air balloon that comes past.
Oh yeah.
Doodle doodle ding doodle ding ding ding. It's great. Bomberman has had a weird history because it's been on a lot of different systems. I mean, well, my first interaction with Bomberman was on the SNES, right?
Yeah,
but I think it was on like PC Engine before then. I'm not entirely sure. And then it was always a Nintendo platform or a Nintendo game for a long time. Then it kind of diverted and went on to Mega Drive for a bit. There was weird version, and Bomberman started to get crazy with like rideable Yoshi type characters that were kangaroos and other power ups and things, and the Bomberman themselves started to change. Then there was the Saturn version, which everyone kind of loves, which is much more akin to Super Bomberman on the SNES, but with 8 players, which is the biggest reason why people go nuts for it. Then there is the phenomenally bad Bomberman Act Zero,
certainly,
which came out on the Xbox 360. Joe, if you see this, you should try it now. Xbox 360 boxed release.
I never played it.
I did. It was bloody awful. It's a reboot of Bomberman.
Okay? Yeah, I do remember seeing it.
But it's like set in like real world almost. So it's like a proper robot Bomberman in like a cyber world. It's bad. It's like if you imagine the difference between Gen 1 Transformers and Michael Bay's Transformers, it's worse than that. The difference, and you can play the game from 2 views. Like there's the standard view, the classic Bomberman view, but that's not the default. The default is almost like a Resident Evil style over the shoulder third person view, and it's fucking horrendous. It's the worst thing. Like it baffles me as to how that game even got made, let alone considered in the first place.
Sure.
I think it's still Hudson
really?
Soft that did it, and crazy. I mean, it's one of those games that you almost should own just because you'll never see a mistake made so badly as that again. And it looked dreadful even for a 360 game. So definitely check that out. Bomberman, it's had a speckled history, as it were. It's weird that there's no iPhone version or iOS version.
It's
You'd
crazy.
think it would kind of work pretty well on that.
Yeah.
It's not really ever been any real handheld stuff as far as I'm aware for Bomberman.
Yeah, I did get Danny Bomberman Land, so it's kind of like a mini games on was on DS.
And I think there was like almost a platformer as well at one point.
Maybe,
but I'm not sure. But like classic Bomberman, there isn't enough of it out there.
No. It's strange. It's strange. It's not on DS and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. You'd think there'd be something. So, Bomberman, I freaking love it. Did you like it, Joe?
Yeah.
Will you play this again?
Maybe with you two if you fire it up one day, but
Maybe.
Probably not.
All right. Okay. Fair enough. Well, that's Bomberman then. If you've not played it by now, and you really should have done, then go and play it now, right now. And even if you have to buy Bomberman Live, you can on Xbox Live Arcade, but it's not great. I will warn you there. Next week, as we found out earlier in the show, we're going to play Killer Instinct. Killer Instinct, Joe.
Yes.
On the SNES, yeah? We'll do the original Killer Instinct.
It's going to go badly, I warn you now.
Yeah.
Because A, Joe hates fighting games.
Yeah.
B, Joe sucks at fighting.
Yeah.
C, if he actually makes it to Idol,
yeah,
it's not gonna. Idol's gonna make him angry, man.
It's gonna be fine. So we're gonna do that next week, just to tie in with Microsoft's re-registering the trademark. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. That was Educating Joe. Okay, we're back in our normal environment, our like Joe's no longer being educated environment.
No, we've left the lab.
Yeah, exactly. So put that scalpel down. Wash your hands twice. And that was it. That's kind of the end of the show. That's the end of episode 35.
It's been good.
I'm always left a bit funny at this time in the show.
I'm fired up, man. I need Bomberman.
Yeah, well, let's get and play Bomberman. All right, let's wrap this up there really quickly. There's a load of games coming out this week. It's kind of like we're in now. That's it. Buckle up, motherfuckers, because this is it. It's game time. This week, ton of games coming out. Borderlands 2.
Yep.
Big one. Who's playing it?
I am.
Joe's playing it. I'm going to play this too. I really want to play this. And Sean, I think, oh man, you need to be online because I think you'd really enjoy this. And I certainly want. I have a real hankering at the moment for co-op games.
Right.
I want to play a long co-op game. Where I'm getting involved and stuff's going on. I'm kind of in the mood to play Dead Island.
Okay.
But you can't do it because you're a lazy.
I hate Dead
dancer.
Island as well.
Yeah, I know. But
it's very Borderlands-like.
Did you play it in co-op?
No.
Well, there you go. So the main way you're supposed to play it, you didn't, and that's why you didn't like it. That's why you're playing Bomberman in single player. Is what you're doing. So Borderlands 2's out. F1 2012, Joe.
Yep.
That's out as well. Little Big Planet Vita. I thought that was kind of already out, but that's coming out this week. One Piece Pirate Warriors is coming out for the PS3. I do not know what that game is. All right? I do not know.
But you got to mention.
One Piece. Like, what is a one-piece Pirate Warrior? It sounds like a piece of, like, a weird item of clothing.
I don't know, maybe we'll force Joe to buy. He's got a PS3.
The Testament of Sherlock Holmes is out on 360, PS3, and PC. I'm actually curious about this game because this game, the Sherlock Holmes games are made by like one company that are absolutely mental, some Eastern European company, and I'm really curious to see how that is.
Right.
I think there was a demo, it might have been this one, there was a demo years ago, well, not years ago, but at a conference where the person demoing it went, I don't want to spoil anything for the game, but Sherlock Holmes died in this one.
Good job. Well
So
done.
I'm curious to see how that is. The Xbox Live Hits collection is out, which includes Beyond Good and Evil HD, From Dust, and Outland on a disc retail unit. Which that sounds quite good. That's not a bad mix. Beyond Good and Evil was awesome. From Dust was good. I didn't play Outland. Did you play Outland?
No, I didn't.
So there's that. Our good friends Excalibur Publishing have 2 games out this week: Circus World, oh yeah, and Disaster Response Unit. No, neither of those games are simulations. Connect Sesame Street TVs on 360. National Geographic TVs on Xbox 360. What are those? Are those like apps or something?
National Geographic is like a quiz game, like, kind of like a buzzing thing.
Fair enough. And then obviously, Indie Games Uprising still continues into this week. We had Entropy on Monday. City Tuesday came out today. We're going to go back and play that because that looks awesome and definitely gets a why don't you take a look at this sticker put on it by me. Xenominer is on Wednesday. Descent meets Minecraft meets Xbox Live Indie Games, and then Pixel on Thursday. So there is a ton of stuff coming out. Next week, Rammed. It's going to be a crazy Rammed show. If you want to get in touch with us, you can always email us at thingsweplay@gmail.com, or you can find us on Twitter @thingsweplay. And don't forget to go to the website, www.thingsweplay.net, where you can check out the first episode of Extra Credits and a whole bunch of other stuff that we decide to put up on there. And that's basically a lot. It's late. It's late in the day, man, and this is a long episode.
Aye.
So, we'll see you next Tuesday.
Word.
Later.